Here we go.
Performance for you. If you know the words, you can join in too. Put your hands together if you wanna clap. As we take you through this monkey rap. He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. He's finally back to kick some tail. Here's a coconut gun. Can fire in spurts if he shoots ya. It's gonna hurt. He's bigger, faster, and stronger too. He's the first member of the DK crew. Han's got style, so listen up, dude. She could shrink in size to suit her mood. She's quick and nimble when she needs to be. She can go through the air and climb up trees. If you choose her, you'll not choose wrong. With a skip and a hop, she's one cool ball. He has no style, he has no grace. This Colonq has a funny face. He can handstand when he needs to and stretch his arms out just for you. Inflate himself just like a balloon. This crazy Colonq just digs his tune. He's back again and about time too. And this time he's in the mood. He can fly real high with the tip back on, with his pistols out. He's one tough call. He'll make you smile when he plays his tune. But gremlins beware, 'cause he's finally, he's here for you. It's the last member of the DK crew. This Colonq so strong, it isn't funny. Can make a gremlin cry out for money. Can pick up a boulder with relative ease. Makes crushing rocks seem such a breeze. He may move slow, he can't jump high, but this Colonq, one hell of a guy. Come on, Cranky, take it to the fridge. Walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut.
Okay.
Any gamers? Any gamers in this chat room? We gotta swap the headphones. Like always, like every fucking time, we gotta swap those funny little headphones. Here we go. Let's see. Any gamers? I'll allow the DK rap to continue to play in the background. Let's make it a little quieter though. Welcome in, everybody. Let's see who's here. Welcome in, Nicola R. Hristov Tabaha. Thank you for the boost. Arcane Ardio. I don't know how to say it, but I know what it is. Mod Colonq, Catsy Nessa, Lady Vignette, Lady V, Steel Shield, Chaotic Quixotic, not missing one, quick on the draw, as always, Quixotic on the draw, getting those boosts in. Must underscore broke underscore. What am I doing something? Is that the RuneScape monkey? Yes, it is a RuneScape monkey. We got the RuneScape monkey, we got Gorilla Munch, Enviro Kids, organic corn cereal, which may be extremely nostalgic to a very particular subset of people. And we have Donkey Kong doing his famous catchphrase up aerial. Welcome in Steffi Sot. Hello, brothers. Welcome in Mo VT. Is this LLLL Colonq? Yes, we're doing a bit of a gorilla type stream today. Welcome, recruit in a suit. Yellow, good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome in. Yeah. Let me take the music away. Let's put the music away let's go here. Let me click the buttons. There we go. Buttons clicked. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, you get the joke? Haha, it's like gorilla, but it's gorilla. It's only been a thing people have been making lame jokes about for probably 100 years. Welcome in, Gen Dude. Got here just in time to see the DK rap opener. Joel Fast Jeweler, yes, so true. Looks like something I could actually understand for once. Well, the secret, Momomo VT, is you can always understand. You just have to believe in yourself. I believe in you, Momomo VT. So why don't you believe in yourself? That's what I think, at least. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But anyway, we're here. We're so back, you know, etc., 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 etc. Hello, everybody. You don't like me? That makes me very sad, Momomo VT. That makes me, I mean, do you need a hug? I will give you a hug. I'll fly to wherever you are, and I'll give you a hug. Old color Emacs. This is actually, the real knowers know that this is, in the beginning we had the red-ish color theme, and then we moved midway through to the bluish color theme. I think without any mention of it. And this is actually the exclusive jungle color theme that we used for the Safari arc. Welcome in, Jazzahall VT. Do people know Jazzahall VT? Sorry, I know there's lots of people here, but I found out about Jazzahall VT through Hina Bobina channel lately, and I checked out Jazzahall VT and they seem pretty cool. So you should check out Jazzahall VT. But don't worry, I don't want to. I always feel weird when I know multiple people stream and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna shout out one person randomly. But it's just like, you know, sometimes you just have to do whatever the fuck you want. I will just continue to do absolutely whatever I want at all times, and I think things will work out for me. You don't know that guy? Seems kind of cringe, TBH. Yeah, I mean, who really knows anything about that whole situation? I know I'm just pressing random buttons on the keyboard, and they just happened to produce a combination of characters that was / shout out space Jazzahall _ VT. Colonq cannot be stopped. That's right, baby. That's right, baby. They have VT in their name. Yes, the classic signifiers, right? VT, CHEN, right? All of these funny little letters. They signal so many things to us. Welcome in, Oily Oil 73. Ooh woo. Ooh woo, indeed. VT stands for very tubular, unstoppable, inclonkable. Yeah. What happens when an inclonkable object meets a something? I don't know. What happens when an inclonkable object meets twitch.tv, twitch.tuvalu? Welcome in, Ellie going live. Haven't seen you in a while. Perfect that you're live right now. I'm glad to see it. And welcome in, Colicus, as well. Welcome everybody. It's good to see you all. I've missed you, right? You know, I always miss you. So that's why we can get into the explanations now, right? As you know, I'm a Friday streamer. Ooh, yeah. So true. I'm a Friday streamer typically, right? You know, I'm a every Friday type of guy, right? I'm an every Friday type of individual. But as I've said at some point, can you guide us through the clankability calculations? What parameters play it? Well, I mean, moon phase, one of the most notable parameters. Moon phase, extremely important. Colonq heads, in the very early days of this stream, when I hadn't yet decided how vulgar I was going to be, right? How the vulgarity level of this stream kind of varies based on how I'm feeling on the day, right? And one of my earliest ideas in the Great Ideas document is LLLL Colonq penis size calculator based on the current moon phase. But I think that might be a little bit alienating to some of the we keep it like this is more of a refined Tea Party type audience at this point. You know, we're pinkies out, right? We're eating the little cucumber sandwiches. We got cookies, we got scones, we got teas. We're doing high tea, we're doing low tea. I know that's my fault. I thought I turned on notifs for you, but I turned out I didn't, so I thought you were just oh dear, Ellie going live. Well, I'm sorry. Well, if you want to make sure you are always getting notifications, you can join the ! Discord, where I only ping. But when there's that funny little red number, that means I'm live. That's the only thing that you should be getting pinged for in the Discord, unless you are having conversations with other people in the Discord, as you know how it goes, everyone. You know how it goes. Anyway, I'm live now, even though I'm normally a Friday type gamer, because oh, there we go. We have Van Darkholm there. We have a Darkholm type beat going on. How much is a unit of Colonq ability compared to a hammer editor unit? Well, I think it's roughly comparable. They're the same kind of dimensions, at least, right? I need to dig deep into the hammer editor. I've been trench brooming lately, and I'm getting really dissatisfied with my level editing workflow. But that's neither here nor there. Hi, IQ questions. Welcome in Yontraworks, and welcome in Zom Danny. Every time I say your name, Yontraworks, even though I know it's Launcherworks, I see the L on my screen. But I say Yontraworks now, and I say it like that. You know the guy, the Dine and Dash arrest guy? People know about this, right? Like the Australian guy who goes, "Take your hands off my penis." That's how I say Yontraworks. Anyway, we're live on Tuesday. And we're live on Tuesday because how do you say this? I wanted to. Basically because I wanted to, I think, is why I'm live on Tuesday. And I want to stream more. And I wasn't streaming more. I meant to stream more in the past, right? But now it's the future. And it's the future because I was sick. And I didn't stream more while I was sick. But now I'm less sick. So now we're going to stream a little bit more. As to what we're going to do today, right? I think we're going to figure that out together. I have some vague ideas. Yes, this is Democracy Manifest. It's not the future now, it's only now. Well, it's the future compared to when you said that, Gen Dude. When you typed that message, it wasn't the future, but now it is, compared to, well, so it goes sometimes. So it goes. Anyway, welcome in Small Sweetie as well. The smallest, only the smallest sweeties. Anyway, that sounds horrible, actually, saying that aloud. Oh, cool. You can use animated emotes for the hair. Yes, you can now, Steel Chill. We added that last time. Welcome in Zomd. I think I said that. And thank you for the follow, 18A6 as well. Actually, banger name. It's shockingly hard to get those funny little 4-character names on Twitch TV. I know, I tried, and that's a pretty good one, at least. I don't know, like 18 divides evenly by 6. I don't know what this is supposed to mean, but probably you could come up with some sort of good backronym for that. Welcome in Mimiyu as well. As chaotic as your streams, you motivate me to work on my projects as I watch. Excellent, Zom Danny. I hope that's the case. I hate JS, do you? I am ambivalent towards JavaScript. I think JavaScript is fine, actually. I mean, here's the hot take. JavaScript's better than Python. The ecosystem surrounding JavaScript is kind of shit, though. But there's good things happening in that space. Like, there's this cool thing. I think it's called a bun. Let's see if this brings up straight up porn. No, yeah, bun. This little funny thing. And I also like Dino quite a lot. But I like TypeScript. I like TypeScript quite a lot. I don't write either of them very much, though. But I don't know. That's kind of neither here nor there. Those are my JavaScript opinions. The hot JavaScript opinions. We hacking today? Yes, we are hacking today, Jezahol VT. We're going to be, improving some aspects of our stream. We'll get into that. We had sort of a nascent idea a few streams ago, presented to us by friend of the stream, Woozle_channel. This shit rated porn, yeah. I mean, every stream on this channel is rated straight up NC-17 explicit. Welcome in Watchmakering as well. Good to see you. I was sort of worried, Clonkheads, right? I'm sort of worried. Streaming is a discipline that inspires a lot of fear. It's kind of a fear-based hobby. Some hobbies are based on enjoyment. Streaming, I think, is largely based on fear. Once you're started, at least, right? Once you're in, right? It's like you're trapped inside of the Hall of Mirrors, right? You're trapped inside of this strange little haunted house we call Twitch television. And if you use it again, do it again, Arcane Ardeo. It works the second time. It's kind of magical that way. If you just do it one more time, then you can have Wookiee Arch Crumpy as the hairstyle. It happens that way for reasons that are kind of silly and stupid, but it's a thing. I am always in fear. Yes, I live in fear. It's animated though. Yes, it will be animated now. Watchmakering. We added that. Yeah, just do it again, please. Arcane Ardeo, demonstrate for us. It was fixed last stream. Yes, you can do it now. You can do it. You can have Gotcha Guns ATF lurk. We did implement the animated GIF kind of functionality, the animated GIF type. I've never been afraid. I'm different. Yeah, Jazzahall VT is just, you don't even need courage. I was going to say you have maximum courage, but you don't even need courage if you never have fear, right? Courage is a response to fear. Welcome in, Digby Cat. Thank you for the boost. Eldritch Outer God LLLL Colonq. Yeah, so true. Courage is for betas. Yes, if you're courageous, that just means you're afraid, right? Isn't that the case? Anyway, so what we're even talking about, thank you for the boost, recruit in a suit as well. So the thing we were talking about, I think, is why the fuck I'm here. Well, again, it's because I want to. So what are we going to do today? I think what we're going to do today is, again, the usual. We'll chat a little bit. I missed you all, so like I like to chat. I'd stick around, but I can't, alas. I came to boost and leave without further explanation. Well, I mean, it's always acceptable, Digby Cat. You're free to do as you please. You're free to come and go as you please. That's just part of the game here. That's just part of the gaming. This is man, I'm glad we got this animation feature. This really adds to the chaos, I think. It adds to the, you know, I'm thinking we're kind of epic chaotic. We're a little bit random on this stream. We keep it random. Is this the Democracy Manifest? I don't know. I don't actually know, man, anymore. This is something like, wasn't there an NPR show called Democracy Now? This is called, our show is like Democracy Then or something. I don't know. The Colonq wiggle is tweaking out when it's turned into hair. Yeah, there's probably something related to the way that we've learned that GIFs are kind of cursed, and at least at least we are able to do what every programmer longs to do and just install a dependency and have it do everything for us. It seems like maybe that wasn't the right thing necessarily. I suspect it's because of the Colonq wiggle, which I made myself, but I just let Asprite do all the work. It probably is has different times per frame, and we just take the delay for the last frame. Giving a mentally unhinged guy all the power seems fun. I'm more into monarchies personally. Yeah, I mean, who knows about that basically, right? What is the approved LLLL Colonq political system? Who did I vote for every year starting in 1920? Let's give the detailed list, actually. Can you have Amogus GIFs in well, if anyone has an Amogus type emote, right? The problem, I fear, is that most Amogus type beats are probably 7TV type situations. Some Wigglies do have frames. Yeah, well, it's good to know, Tabaha. I'll have to consult with the Wiggly smithing community in order to refine my Wiggly to... please change every Wiggly emo on twitch.tv to better support my shitty software. Welcome in Slushy Water. I probably said that already. You have the Amogus, but these are channels. This is an Auxilia Genome channel emote. What's that all about? And a QATW partner channel emo. How notable. How simply notable. If you do it again, you know the drill, Zomdani. You know the drill. Poggies, yes. So let's look at our docket. I haven't changed the docket yet because, again, I literally decided to stream. So here's my day so far, Clonkheads. Please share your day as well. Your funny little, what is it today? Tuesday? It's fucking Tuesday. I woke up at 2 p.m. and was like, oh shit, I'm gonna stream today, and I just threw some shit together and then clicked the go live button, and that's the level of preparation we're doing. Normally I prepare in detail. I've come up with a detailed schedule for everything I'm going to say. It's all scripted. It's all WWE scripted content. But today we have to this is a little bit off script maybe. Well, we got Sweet Green today. We tried Sweet Green, so I'm all revved up on funny little green stuff. Stream games. We could do some gaming. ModClonq wants desperately more than anything for me to do some gaming on stream because ModClonk's a gamer. ModClonq games far more. I woke up and literally had no fear. Welcome in. I already said welcome in because you dropped the fat follow 18A6, but I'm going to say welcome in again because now you have the funny little border around your chat message that says you're a first-time chatter, and you came in saying the funny comment about having no fear and waking up. So, I mean, it all comes together, really, at the end of the day. I hate video games. They need to be banned from Twitch. I sort of agree, Jazzahall VT. I think Twitch should be I think it should be Justin TV again. I think it should just be Justin's life. There should be one stream. There shouldn't be any more streams. I think actually they should ban streaming. I think it corrupts the youth. Welcome in Thank you for the boost, Crazy Wizard _real. I'm glad you're not just Crazy _wizard, because I would be concerned that you were fake Crazy Wizard _real. When will you river? Yeah, when is the river? When do we reach the fucking ocean? What is the situation with the internet content aquifer? Thanks. I'm glad you're welcome, Crazy Wizard Real. That's what you say in response to thanks. Twitch should go back to the old roots. Yes. Be pool streams only. Yeah, I agree. When's the LLLL Colonq hot tub stream? I think soon, maybe. What if we do a hot tub stream and I just get a GoPro and I just throw a computer into a pool, into a hot tub? That's actually excellent. We got to add that. We do hot tub stream, but we GoPro film throwing a computer. I got Fillion.mp4 here, because if people are worried that, so we're auto completing Fillion.mp4 and people are like, what's that all about? Is that the Fillion Rule 34 hentai? No, it's me. I edited my hair to say hi Fillion because I was trying to engagement bait on twitter.com. Unfortunately it failed. Foiled again. Drat. No. We GoPro film throwing computer into hot tub. Bonus points if computer is on and running OBS for stream. That would be the greatest thing of all time, right? We take the laptop that's actually running the stream, we stream over Wi-Fi a little bit, and we throw that laptop into a hot tub. I think that's perfect, actually. That's actually the end goal of all computer-oriented streaming on Twitch TV. Anyway, make sure to add the debug duck to the tub. Yes, so true. So you gotta have that rubber duck. You gotta be in the bathtub with the rubber. Why would you ruin your life for the bit, for the content, Roboman? I have unbeatable content brain, Roboman01851. Welcome in, by the way. I am unstoppable. Deep Rock Galactic moment. We're going. Is that what this is? Is this DRG or is this Dragoon? We got explosives placed. I see. Now I see. At last now we're rocking stoning. Anyway, so I don't know. What else was I even fucking saying? Well, we're live here. We're live now. I was concerned about why. Well, we're testing some different times, basically, right? The way that this stream goes, your performance in chat. I grade every chatter, by the way, right? Every stream, you don't get to see this, right? But I have a spreadsheet of every chatter, and I grade your performance on a letter grade scale from F to A, right? F being failure, A being awesome. That was lame. That was ace. Ace. A means ace. No S tier, no S tier. We don't. This is a Western game studio. We don't do S tier. You're winning, right? A is all right, right? A is acceptable. So I'll be grading your performance, chatter performance, after this stream, and we'll compare chatter performance, average, collected, collated, with the typical chatter performance for the Friday streams, and then we'll choose whether to do this time again. I'm sort of, well, if we're speaking honestly, right? I'm sort of like, I was like, well, we'll do an earlier stream for the Euros. I originally intended to stream 4 hours before this, even, right? At noon my time, roughly 5 p.m. probably Euro time. Western Euro time. But then I was like, well, first of all, I'm not going to ever be awake at noon, right? Do you think I'm ever awake at noon? I've worked a full-time job and I'm never awake at noon, right? I'm not doing that. That's impossible. And also I was sort of like, wait, why don't I? That's just like everyone who is in America, then they're just at work if I do that on Tuesdays. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. So I'm sort of thinking maybe we'll do an earlier time on Saturdays or something, and this is all very interesting. I'm sure you all come by to get the detailed lore about what my what's the word? Quibbling about optimal stream times for chatter performance. You're here to boost. Yes, I know. The boost has been the most lethal psychological weapon I have ever deployed on Twitch TV. I think it's been really remarkable. I think my stream content grind set of just copying things that Shindigs does is continuing to be absolutely Like, I don't know. I was getting into something there, and then I kind of lost steam. You're here to learn about engagement. Yes, so true. I mean, we go for the number one. I mean, really, if you really want to learn about engagement, you got to get on Gumroad, and you got to buy my course. You got to buy my... I have a little course about this, right? I mean, it'll teach you how to become an internet marketing genius. Welcome in Exodrifter _. Well, good to see you. Good to see you. Boost faster. Yes. It's so true. Hustler College. Yes. What are we calling it? It's called Grindset Grotto. We're going to be in the Grindset Grotto. That's my course, my e-course, my masterclass, along with the George W. Bush one on leadership. Yes, I mean, both extremely valuable purchases. And alongside of that, you should subscribe to the Metafy Leffen course, where Leffen individually teaches you how to play Fox. You can learn everything you need, right? You can go to George Bush, leadership, LLLL Colonq, Grindset, Leffen, Fox. Those are basically the 3 skills that you need to succeed in life. I'm thinking leadership, Grindset, Fox. It's what is this, the acronym for this? LFG, let's fucking go. Leadership, Fox, Grindset. Let's fucking go. We've been very Melee pilled in this house. Yes. We've been watching a little bit too much Melee, I think. IKZ. Yeah. I'm going to head out, LLLL Colonq. Perhaps I will return later. Either way, we'll thank you, Arcane Artio. Don't be accosted by any... I don't know, when your way through Forsaken Castle Canehurst to pick up the Executioner's Gauntlets. Don't be accosted by any screaming wraiths. You're lagging? No. Well, you have my permission, MomomoBT. You have my permission to turn down the resolution. Can we do that? Do we have transcoding? Too much Melee? You mean like the Crusades? Yeah, like in like medieval tournaments, we've been watching melees. We've been going to HEMA events. We've been watching people fight with the longsword, following Italian fencing manuals or something. I don't fucking know. Anyway, what are we doing? This is going on. What are you indicating, ModClonk? You make gestures, ModClonk, and I don't know what that's what LFG means. I was so confused when people would post that looking for group. What ModClonk saved my reputation because I almost missed an Exodrifter _ message, and I would have to fall upon my sword were that the case. 1080 or GTFO. Well, I'm actually upscaling. I'm upscaling this stream from 360, and no, I'm joking. It is at 1080p natively, although it really doesn't need to be. But yeah, people post looking for group. What? Yes, I think it means alternatively looking for group in the MMO context. It's often looking for group, but it's how do you say? Let's quote unquote fucking go in the internet context more broadly, I think. Anyway, fall upon that sword. You really are Melee obsessed. Yes, I know. I have swords. I have flails. Thank you, Lobsang2, for the follow. Good to see you. LFG, yeah. Looking for group. Let's fucking go. Okay, so we've come up with one idea this stream that makes it worthwhile. Let's see, what else? We've done this. We did everything last stream. This is kind of crazy. Anyway, let's see. I thought I was already following as of a few weeks ago. Well, I'm glad you came around. I mean, these connections, they're so easy to miss, Lobsang2. It's so easy. I have this experience often on Twitch as well. I'm sort of convinced that there are government men coming into my house to unfollow Twitch accounts that I would otherwise be watching. It's extremely scary, and I'm a little bit unnerved by it. But it's ModClonq is subtly manipulating the direction of the stream by unfollowing people on my account in order to shape the direction of the content. I said direction way too many times. Welcome in Dia Mandis. The Twitch fairy unfollows you occasionally. Yes, it's you have to stay nimble out here. You have to stay incredibly flexiform. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but anyway, thank you Lobsang2. It's hard out there, and I personally appreciate every Clonkhead. If any Clonkhead approached me, right, we got to get on the convention circuit. I think I'm basically as famous as Asmongold right, at this point. So I basically need to go on the convention circuit, and I'm gonna sign merchandise. Man, that would be actually so funny. So here's a bit you can only do as a small streamer. Just like give out signed merch. Go to a convention where no one knows who you are, and just, I want to do this now. Like, go to TwitchCon and just like get a couple of friends to like walk around you with cameras, like you're like a big shot with like a team, and just like hand out like signed, stickers that are like signed sticker sheets or something, right? Like, or something really strange, right? Like, welcome in Baxter Crook as well. Yeah, we're going ape. It's funny how the gorilla emoji in my browser window is the gorilla face, but in the font in my Emacs, it's a full ass gorilla body. That's really fun. I like that. True real Colonq army soon. Yeah. I mean, what type of signed Colonq merch would you like? I mean, I know it's kind of a prized item. I too have a mere gorilla face. So far, just chatting. We're just chatting. Exodrifter's asking what we're going to do today. I want what the cutest Colonq is up to. Yes, we're not doing. Will you sign my RSA key? Yeah, we're bringing back the GPG web of trust. We're going to start the new web of trust by meeting up at TwitchCon with bring your YubiKey. I wonder if it uses the weird looking version of this emoji. Well, it uses a clearly strange. Well, this one, mine has snow on their head. There's snow on head, snow head. Where I like the other one better though. I like anyway, LLL Colonq, yes, W Colonq. Well, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself there. I don't know if we're W. Why we? I was typing this thing out and got distracted midway, and we stopped at why we live. So I think we've covered why we live. Well, it's because I want to, and we're gonna experiment with this. If it turns out everyone is toiling away in the wage cage at this time, some people like to watch streams in the wage cage. I mean, that's true as well, right? Nah, I thought it would use the fucked up looking Android version where it looks. It's a suspicious type emote. It looks like, does that mean it looks like, well, never mind. Never mind. You should refuse to sign anything that isn't officially licensed. Yeah, I'll only sign my own licensed merchandise. You have to, I won't, if you present me with like a little piece of paper, I won't sign that. I only sign licensed merchandise. Dreading what the orange site is up to. Well, we'll never ever check the orange site, Baxter, unless we're truly desperate. I live because Colonq wants to live, Sasuga. Well, I'm glad. Well, I hope everyone in the chat room can find their own reasons to live. I hope that very much. I hope you can find a reason to continue inhabiting this bitch of an earth. I hope you can, I don't know, this is getting a little bit off in the weeds, but I again, if you ever meet me in the real life, I'll give you $1 million. So, I mean, that's an incentive. If you ever find my location and track me down, I'll give you $1 million US. No, anyway, but LLL Colonq, you may appreciate a clip I made of the Primogen recently on using the VTuber tag. Oh, please, Watchmakering, please share. The doxing shit. Well, let's not even joke about that, because that's my greatest fear. I wake up in the night. I had a nightmare last night, and one part of the nightmare was about getting doxed, and the other part of the nightmare was about they added a new feature they added to American airports where they made it so you have to go through security when you leave, and there was some like small issue with my bag and I couldn't leave the airport, and the security was outside for some reason and I couldn't get onto a bus. And it's a new feature. Yeah, a new excellent high quality airport feature. Can we watch this with can MPV fetch this for us? MPV, fetch this. People will find out, what are you talking about, Steffi? Of course I'm a real anime girl. Well, I'm actually an anime man. LLL Colonq is an anime man who just happens to use a female V-Roid model. It's kind of complex. It's a complex thing. Can I just do this?
VTuber in the tags. Feel weird, man? What, are you judging my pixels?
I love you.
Yeah. Are you telling me that this is not a
I mean,
virtual
flesh tubers are literally VTubers. It's so true.
Set of pixels? Are you saying that I'm not a virtual tuber right now? Because last time I checked, this ain't real, okay? This has been passed.
This is high quality content.
DSLR. I get virtualized.
Thank you, Primogen.
Pixelized.
Thank you. I'm reacting, by the way. What's the reaction phase?
What's the difference? Are you judging my pixels? It's 2023, man. Don't judge another man's pixels like that. Okay?
What?
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Lagging boobas? Okay.
Lagging boobas? Yeah, so true. Anyway, let's see. Welcome in Basilia, by the way. It's what VTuber software does that guy use? Probably, I'm thinking it's a fancy piece of software called the Open Broadcasting System, or OBS. When are you growing your mustache? I have a mustache IRL in Frinoid. I'm kind of epic and base. I have a handlebar mustache. I also have a mustache tattoo. I'm driving Fixie all over Portland. You know, I'm getting craft brews. They'll never stop me. I got leg tattoos. I wear slightly uncomfortably too short shorts. I wear the coolest, tightest band shirts. Do you have the biggest? I have the biggest truck. It's true. I would if I could drive. How much flannel you got? I actually have mad flannel. Flannel's fucking the best. Do you have a truck? No, unfortunately. Skinny jeans? Yeah, I got those. What are hipster shoes? They wear like the long tennis shoes that look like fucking bowling shoes. Ignored. Love you. I love you too, small sweetie. I mean, again, this is the most parasocial stream on Twitch TV. I will come here. I'll whisper sweet nothings into the ears of the Colonq heads for hours at a time. It's I don't have any shame. I've never felt shame in my life. Crocs. Hipsters haven't existed. Yes. I mean, I think the entire hipster phenomenon is just like people making fun of a guy who didn't quite exist, right? And then people taking pictures of that guy and then making fun of that as if it's like not a parody already. Bet you can't play Among Us in Emacs L editor. You're just baiting me at this point, Steffi Sot. You're like baiting me to go on a month long tangent to build a Mogus. Get out of my vintage Converse. Also, that's what I was thinking of. Watchmaker. Exactly. Thank you. What is shame? Well, I don't know. Something we don't have around here. I couldn't point it out. We couldn't find it. Shame. Not here, not found. I was gonna do an epic programmer 404 shame not found, but we had to drop it a little bit. Get out of my DMs, gang stalker. Should I DM Jazzahall VT on stream? I don't think I can do that easily. I have to navigate too many monitor configurations. So I'll do that in the middle of the night. I'll send Jazzahall VT. I'll find Jazzahall VT's Twitter and send them a random ominous DM. We'll add that to the list. Colonq, are you cheating on us? Well, never. Well, I mean, I'm devoted entirely to mod Colonq, right? This is I don't know what this is. Some kind of aberration. Gang stalking DM Jazzahall. There we go. Anyway, on the list. Are you saying that you will, in fact, careless whisper to chat? I mean, I'm not saying anything, Gen Dude. I mean, you can pick up what I'm putting down, but I mean, I don't know. I really just say anything on this stream, right? Like I'm not even remotely cogent in my responses to these questions. When is Mall Colonq going to be added? Is that the E zone? Is that like we are building the metaverse, right? We are constructing the metaverse as we speak. We're building a metaverse, at least. Maybe not the metaverse, but we have some kind of Mall Colonq situation. What if two stalkers were stalking each other, makes you think? I'm pretty sure I've read that exact plot on archiveofourown.com, probably repeatedly. I'm sure it's there at least 100 times. Digital Mall Santa Colonq. The metaverse is forming. OMG 11111. Yeah. I used to think the funniest thing was in forum posts when they like wrote out, when they were doing the exclamation points and then they changed to typing ones and then they wrote like ONE. Right, like I got when I was a young anime letter, 11, I thought that was the bee's knees. Classic gag. I really thought that was the funniest shit. The metaverse is forming. OMG AO3 Lamau AO3. That's a real plot. Oh, I'm sure it is. There's some wild shit on AO3. Crazy Wizard Reel. Yeah, I'm actually, I don't know, hate thinking. I try and look at a lamp for a few seconds. Suddenly there's guys, animals in my head. Now I'm imagining a sphere. I couldn't show you a sphere for infinite money and I'm looking at one now. Yeah, so true. I feel like I have a nearly complete, there was that thing going around recently, Colonq heads, right? Like there was the whole aphantasia thing, right? This is a funny thing for some reason, people really like talking about differences in their subjective experiences that are, it was more of that sort of thing, watchmakering, right? Like I don't know. I don't know how to. This is the way the thing goes. I like using 1. I like using 11 in the speech. I like all of that. It's just, I mean, the original thing obviously is they let their finger off the shift a little bit and then it evolves anyway. But the What was I fucking saying? Oh yes, people really enjoy it. Really baits the engagement really hard when you ask people to describe their subjective mental experiences, to talk about their qualia basically. And one of the things, ZomG, yes, an unshifted bang would be stellar. I'm sure you can configure that yourself. We're in the days of custom firmware now, watchmakering. I'm sure you can build a keyboard that has any kind of, well, I don't actually know. I don't know how these things interact with software, but I'm sure you could do it. We have enough layers that you can remap things at this point. You could probably do it just with Xmodmap, I would think. Anyway, the people like talking about the thing in their head, and one of the things that was going around recently was this aphantasia phenomenon. Can you imagine the apple? Can you imagine the apple? Right. Well, let's, like, when you think of an apple in your head, Colonq, do you see an apple? Is it like a similar sort of sense? I mean, I think the discussions. Well, I should also say thank you for the follow, Zol0. I don't think I ever said that. I was like, oh yeah, I'll finish saying this sentence before I say thank you, and then I didn't. So how rude of me, first of all. And again, thank you for the follow. This keyboard runs on a tiny 88 Arduino. Well, very good. Palette swap hair, yes, so true. We got that apple. Talking about Granny Smith or a Mac, well, kind of like Granny Smith. I mean, it's just sort of an example object. But like, if you imagine an apple in your head, like an apple as in the fruit, as in fruit type apple, is that like a comparable thing to like seeing an apple, right? Can you visualize it? Can you rotate it in your head? Right? Can you? I am on the complete. I probably can't even. The way I'm describing this probably betrays it for me. But I have like nearly complete or like totally complete visual like aphantasia. I think like I can't visualize fucking shit in my head. But like I can sort of relate to what that experience might be like, right? In the sense that I can like. I have a sense of hearing in my head, right? Like I can imagine music, and it's like hearing the music, right? And I can imagine touching something, right? I can get a sense of the texture of an apple, or like licking an apple or biting into it. I can feel that almost like it's the real thing. But I have no visual sense like that. I hate thinking about how the human brain works. What do you mean some people can see? But yes, I mean, in these questions of consciousness, these are questions that are beyond science almost, right? I think these are things that you can never like. I don't know. You can never really truly observe someone's subjective experiences, right? These are things that are beyond the reach of empirical knowledge or something. Drop some pics, baby girl. Yeah, that's basically the takeaway. I think the takeaway basically is that baby girl's got to drop some pics. When I was 3, I thought it was fucked up. I was making cartoons in my head. Wow, I come back and you've turned into a Yume Nikki character. Well, I mean, this is relatively common. We're typically either normal mode. We have 3 modes. We have normal mode. We have Junji Ito mode. We have Yume Nikki mode. I guess Junji Ito mode and Yume Nikki mode. They're both kind of. I mean, we were talking about in the context of Saya no Uda, the genre of fucked up Japanese game, right? As sort of a counterpart to the popular genre of fucked up Finnish game, and. Like Junji Ito, I guess, not a game really, but it's sort of a fucked up Japanese thing, right? Artistic movement, artistic endeavor. Activates the spin cycle. The spin cycle's been activated. We're spinning. We have the Volvo give dire tide funny little guy here. Anyway, so what are we doing? We're mapping out. We've mapped out that we need to do gang stalking. We need to DM Jazzahall. We need to install hidden cameras in Jazzahall's house. We need to have operatives appear outside of Jazzahall's house with recording equipment and then leave. People streaming Saya no Uda lately, and I'm like, that's not the whole game on Steam. Yes, well, sometimes you have to make compromises for the sake of art, Jazzahall VT. You have to. I've been enjoying the Saya no Uta renaissance a little bit. Let's see here. Why we live. What are we going to do today? Well, this is the bit of the night. This is, I guess, kind of the day shift more than the night shift. Normally, we're on the night shift. Day shift janitorial work. I mean, I've baited you all in with the funny monkey. We had the funny monkey themed stream. We're going monkey mode. We're drinking the jungle juice. We're going ape. We're having Jamie pull up all sorts of funny little monkey pictures. But I think it's actually a day to resolve some of our, let's say, plot threads. And particularly one I want to resolve today is a question of camouflage. It's a question of camouflage, Colonq. That's how you say it, right? I mean, you have to adopt this funny little kind of European lilt. I don't know. Maybe that's incredibly insensitive for me to say, to call it that. I don't know. Well, anyway, you know I don't mean to hurt you, Colonq heads. You know I only love you always. I only cherish you forever. God, I love camels. Yes, same. God, I love OCamel. Why is OCamel so fucking popular on Twitch, right? I don't understand this. Everyone is like into OCamel now, and I feel, to be honest with you, Colonq heads, I feel a little bit isolated from the Twitch programming community at large, right? I'm more of a VTuber than a programmer, I think. I think that's more of my identity, but the Primogen, yes, and I've seen Tej doing this as well. Welcome in, SaferQ. Switch to Vim? Never. I already switched to Emacs from Vim. I know what lies on the other side, and I know that I don't like it. I've even given up. I gave up on Emacs at one point and switched back to Vim, like 1 year into this magical journey, and then I said, fuck that. That's awful. That's awful. We're Emacs forever. I used to have a note. I'm very forgetful. If you haven't recognized that already, Colonq heads, I'm incredibly forgetful. I have a horrible memory. So I have to make notes for myself. And there was a note, like a physical sticky note on my laptop for a number of years that said, stop switching away from Emacs. It's better than everything else. Because if I didn't have that note, I would forget and be like, well, maybe I can still, no. Emacs.
Confirm this.
Yes.
Awful.
Emacs. I had my years, my wild college years, switching around, trying things out, experimenting a little bit, Colonq heads. But I think, well, Emacs is the best there is. It really is the best there is. Helix, since you seem to be a Rust, well, they're probably all fine. The other thing about all of this is that tools are less important than what you make with them. Just in general, at the end of the day, chaotic, quixotic, right? It's just better to just make things than to worry about these things too much. It just doesn't. At the end of the day, it just doesn't fucking matter. My Emacs is small, shriveled Pepe. It's so true. It's so true. You don't need memory. L3 cache is enough. We recently had a relative, Colonq heads, ask about a computer to pick up, and they wanted to, like, when we asked them about their needs with the computer, they said they needed a lot of L2 cache, and I thought that was very striking. I was just like unsure why that was what they like. I mean, I don't have enough sense of my computing needs to be like, I need to maximize my L2 cache, right? That seems bizarre. Anyway, I mean, some people have more refined needs, I guess. Being able to produce something with a bad tool doesn't make you a better maker. Yeah, I mean, constraint is the mother of invention, right? It's I believe that. What's Gen? How to mount partition is L2? Yes, we should have. There should be swap, but for cache. I guess that's kind of what memory is, right? I mean, that's the whole kind of like hierarchy of memory, right, or whatever the fuck that is. But like, you should be able to directly, I mean, I guess if you just have no memory and just only have swap, can you set up a system like that? Can I set up a system with 0 RAM, only cache, and like a hard disk? That seems not doable, right? Because you need memory to probably manage the disk, right? Welcome in a bipolar carp 123. Hello. I returned to normal just as you arrived. It's an omen. An omen, I say. Is a ghost in the hallway a program or two? Yes, Steffi saw. Yes. Probably not for booting, but maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you probably need some minimal amount of RAM, right? But like, it'd be very funny, right? It'd be very funny to have a cache-driven system. My Emacs is the Chad, Wojak. Your Emacs is the crying Apsustaja. Yes, very true. I mean, is there a Chad? I mean, these things are so complicated at this point. I don't understand the taxonomy of funny little internet guys anymore, right? I mean, there's so fucking many of them, and I used to feel like I used to have a handle on it. Like there was like what emotions certain things were signifying, and now it's just totally, it's in the weeds. Ignoring the RAM needed for booting, I bet you could 100% swap it. Yeah, I mean, again, I just think like you need RAM. You probably need memory to manage. You'd have to write custom. You'd have to build a lot of custom stuff to make this happen. How do you pronounce the channel's name? Well, welcome in Jolene Simp number 4. Is this an acronym? Well, okay. So we've said it a few times. The channel is the LLLL channel, right? I mean, we can. You can hear the ad.
You're listening to twitch.tv/LColonQ.
Right there, you see.
With your host, L. Colonq.
And the character is
Hello,
L. Colonq. That's me.
For the next 5 hours.
Not 5 hours
exist
today.
within the borders of the LColonQ Nation. A world of pure gamer excellence. Infinite money glitch, much?
It goes on a little too long. My
XDDDD. Okay, now begin. Go.
my tendency. So there's a type of humor that I'm fond of. Right? I like this. I think it's very funny, and maybe no one else thinks it's funny in the whole world, but I think it's very funny when things just go on way too long. Does anyone else appreciate this? Do we have any go on too long appreciators in the chat? For me, it's like personally, if something like saying a joke and then just like grinding the joke into absolute powder over the course of half an hour is like the funniest shit. Like, we gotta crack open a cold one. I watch Kim Possible. That's actually maybe the best thing you could have said.
Yeah.
I think there are like I don't think there's any single English clause that you could have responded with that would have been funnier than "Bro, I watched Kim Possible" with that exact capitalization. Where watch and bro. That is so like I'm not doing this to like rip on you. That is so fucking funny. That's okay. We got to add that to the quotes thing. Where's you're being immortalized? How do I get fucking IL? Add quote. Is it Jolene? I just assumed this was like a JoJo thing. Number 4. Bro, I watch Kim Possible. I'm a joke milker too. I milk my I mean, you sort of have to. I mean, it takes so long to come up with one of the joke, right? And it's what?
It's not Kin Possible.
Oh, it's Kin Possible. I wrote it wrong. This is awful.
You're outing.
I'm outing myself. How do I get this fixed now? Do I have to reload quotes? I have to load quotes, I think. Bro, I watched Kim Possible. We fixed it successfully. I'm with the best gag that goes too long is the man falling down the stairs screaming in Porky Pig's feet. Feet mentioned 1943. How could you typo? Yeah, it's not the joke, but yes, exactly. I think the delivery is way more important than the joke, almost always, right? I think the nuances of the way that you speak, right? Like, I mean, anyone who's tried to retell a joke knows this, right? I mean, you hear a joke, it's super funny, and then you try and tell it, and it's like, well, actually, the next thing was like, I mean, the telling is what makes the joke funny. I mean, it's this particular sort of Kim Possible sounds like a Tumblr thing. That's actually my blog. I run a Kim Possible. Well, no, let's not get into that. Do people know? People still do Ask blogs. That used to be such a Tumblr phenomenon, right? Like doing like having a blog like where you're like role playing as a particular character, and people like ask you questions and you answer as that character. What an era that was. What a strange time, right? We truly are children of the internet, right? Like, I mean, we have so many of these fucked up little things. I'm speaking for all of us, right? Because I mean, if you're here, you're a knower by design, right? I mean, well, anyway, I need to take a sip. We need to take a sip. I need to disgustingly sip. Like a joke being said by, I don't know, Jigsaw isn't funny. Do you mean Jigsaw from Saw? I mean, I sort of agree. Delivery is the only way people think I'm funny, which means over the internet I'm just another artist. Yeah, I mean, it's you sort of need the I think it's almost impossible to tell jokes via text. Oh, actually, Clonkheads, are we still balling in here? We are balling. I mean, Jen, dude, the biblicality thing is still. Do you think I'm ever going to turn off any of these things? Okay, here's the lifespan. Like the lifespan of a star, the lifespan of the LColonQ stream is we're going to accumulate bits until our bits we are crushed under the weight of our own bits and we implode. It's going to just build up until it's this Tower of Babel of bits, and we're going to be struck down for our hubris. Clonkers bad for a day. Yeah, say Clonkers. Yeah, so true. Boosted the boost number from Baxter Crook. Got the sponsor. Glad you contributed. Doing my part. Yeah, I mean, you were here before the catastrophic implosion of this stream. Let me actually find this thing. I've been meaning to tell. I have a joke to tell. Clonkheads. I have a joke to tell. So, I mean, I'm gonna start here. This, some of you may have heard this before. If you have, please don't spoil it. It's a personal favorite of mine. So, I mean, please feel free to interrupt, of course, as always. Well, let's okay, I've done enough lead up at this point. Let's tell it. Sing the joke. We could sing it. I mean, I'm a little bit scared of that. I have to say, I'm a little bit embarrassed and humiliated by my poor attempts at singing, right? I mean, I have to train for 10 years and become a yes, anyway. I know a great knock knock joke. You start. Knock knock, Baxter Crook. Milk the oh. You had better believe we're gonna be milking this. This might take maybe even 10 minutes. 18A6. This is a good way to drag it out. I mean, the whole thing on this stream, Safer-Q, is, if you hadn't noticed, this is extreme long form content, right? I stream for 7 hours and I do almost nothing. Milk it like a rat, yes. Okay, well, anyway, here we go. Who's there? L Colonq is there. I'm here, sadly. Anyway, here's the joke. So there's a man crawling through the desert.
No.
You be quiet. You've heard this one before.
I have.
He decided to try his SUV in a little bit of cross-country travel. Had great fun zooming over the Badlands and through the sand. Got lost, hit a big rock, and then he couldn't get it started again. There were no cell phone towers anywhere near, so his cell phone was useless. He had no family. His parents had died a few years before in an auto accident, and his few friends had no idea he was out there. So we're off to a bit of a tricky start here for our intrepid joke protagonist. He stayed with the car for a day or so, but his one bottle of water ran out and he was getting thirsty. He thought maybe he knew the direction back. Now that he'd paid attention to the sun and thought he'd figured out which way was north, so he decided to start walking. He figured he only had to go about 30 miles or so and he'd be back to the small town he'd gotten gas in last. This is why you need to buy a radio. Exactly, right? I mean, exactly. This is the kind of prime radio content that you'd be getting on NPR or any local news station. He thinks about walking at night to avoid the heat and sun, but based upon how dark it actually was the night before, and given that he has no flashlight, he's afraid that he'll break a leg or step on a rattlesnake. So he puts on some sunblock, puts the rest in his pocket for reapplication later, brings an umbrella he'd had in the back of the SUV with him to give him a little shade, pours the windshield wiper fluid into his water bottle in case he gets that desperate, brings his pocket knife in case he finds a cactus that looks like it might have water in it, and heads out in the direction he thinks is right. He walks for the entire day. By the end of the day, he's really thirsty. He's been sweating all day and his lips are starting to crack. He's reapplied the sunblock twice and tried to stay under the umbrella, but he still feels sunburned. The windshield wiper fluid sloshing in the bottle in his pocket is really getting tempting now. He knows that it's mainly water and some ethanol and coloring, but he also knows that they add some kind of poison to it to keep people from drinking in it. He wonders what the poison is, and whether the poison would be worse than dying of thirst. I am the Joker, baby. He pushes on, trying to get to that small town before dark. By the end of the day, he starts getting worried. He figures that he's been walking at least 9 miles an hour, or at least 3 miles an hour, according to his watch, for over 10 hours. That means that if his estimate was right, that he should be close to the town. But he doesn't recognize any of this. He had to cross a dry creek bed a mile or two back, and he doesn't remember coming through it in the SUV. He figures that maybe he got his direction off just a little, and that the dry creek bed was just off to one side of his path. He tells himself that he's close, and that after dark he'll start seeing the town lights over one of these hills, and that'll be all he needs. Sometimes all you need is hope, Colonq heads. Thank you for the Jelker, 8bipolar carb 123. We do be jelking. My very first BRB screen had the text google.com jelking tutorial 2018 on it. Fun fact, fun little piece of LLLL lore. As it gets dim enough that he starts stumbling, this is still the joke, by the way. I mean, there's a bit of lead up here. He's a geologist, and there's kind of, what is jelking? Well, jelking is, well, I mean, that's a kind of a long story. I think the basic story of jelking is that it's a funny internet word, but I think the original intention behind the funny internet word is that it's a technique for stretching your penis to make it longer and thinner. In case you really want a thinner penis, you can jelk. It's a common thing. What is the action you need to do? I feel really immersed in this. It's like I'm really there. Well, I hope so. I'm getting really close to the mic. It's kind of like an ASMR type of thing. I want a Slim Jim hog. Exactly. Jazzahol_VT. Exactly. It's like jelly and hiking rolled into one. Yeah, I mean, the method is sort of like It's sort of like making jello and hiking at the same time. Okay. As it gets dim enough that he starts stumbling over small rocks and things, he finds a spot and he sits down to wait for full dark and the town lights. Full dark comes before he knows it. He must have dozed off. He stands back up and turns all the way around. He sees nothing but stars. He wakes up the next morning feeling absolutely lousy. His eyes are gummy and his mouth and nose feel like they're full of sand. Welcome in MacD87, by the way. I should put this on the screen, what we're doing. Joke break. This lead up better be worth it. Well, you know it will be, Jolene, sim number 4. You know. How tall is it? Well, I'm sure we'll get there, Baxter Crook. He's so thirsty that he can't even swallow. He barely got any sleep because it was so cold. He'd forgotten how cold it got at night in the desert and hadn't noticed it in the night before because he'd been in his car, just in case you were wondering. He knows the rule of threes. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Then you die. Some people can make it a little longer in the best situations, but the desert heat and having to walk and sweat isn't the best situation to be without water. He figures unless he finds water, this is his last day. He rinses his mouth out with a little of the windshield wiper fluid. He waits a while after spitting that little bit out to see if his mouth goes numb or he feels dizzy or something. Has his mouth gone numb? Is it just in his mind? He's not sure. He'll go a little further, and if he still doesn't find water, he'll try drinking some of the fluid. This is Norm MacDonald. Well, you just wait, Steel Shield. You just wait. It takes so long to type decent. Exactly. Imagine the effort that was taken to type this out. Reminds me of a joke I should send to the Discord. Well, wait a minute, in case it's the same joke by BoilerCarp123. You might be familiar. This is a very famous joke. Then he has to face his next harder question. Which way does he go from here? Does he keep walking the same way he was yesterday, assuming that he still knows which way that is? Or does he try a new direction? He has no idea what to do. Looking at the hills and dunes around him, he thinks he knows the direction he was heading before. Just going by a feeling, he points himself somewhat to the left of that and starts walking. Famous mistake. Welcome in Snorlax Bud, by the way. Tobe sip indeed. Let's take a Tobe sip. Ah, very nice. Welcome in, Bud. Hi, Bud. Hi, Bud. Let's see here. As he walks, the day starts heating up. The desert, too cold just a couple of hours before, soon becomes an oven again. He sweats a little at first and then stops. He starts getting worried at that. When you stop sweating, he knows that means you're in trouble, usually right before heat stroke. He decides that it's time to try the windshield wiper fluid. He can't wait any longer. If he passes out, he's dead. Excuse me. TTS. He stops in the shade of a large rock. TTS. Takes the bottle out, opens it, and takes a mouthful. He slowly swallows it, making it last as long as he can. It feels so good in his dry and cracked throat that he doesn't even care about the nasty taste. He takes another mouthful and makes it last too. Slowly, he drinks half the bottle. He figures that since he's drinking it, he might as well drink enough to make some difference and keep himself from passing out. He's quite worried about the denaturing of the wiper fluid. If it kills him, it kills him. If he didn't drink it, he'd die anyway. Besides, he's pretty sure that whatever substance they denature the fluid with is just designed to make you sick. Their way of keeping winos from buying cheap wiper fluid for the ethanol content. He can handle throwing up if it comes to that. The denaturing of the fluid. Yes, noted. Noted. He walks. He walks in the hot, dry, windless desert. Sand, rocks, hills, dunes, the occasional scrawny cactus or dried bush. No sign of water. Sometimes he'll see a little movement to one side or the other, but whatever moved is usually gone before he can focus his eyes on it. Probably birds, lizards, or mice. Maybe snakes, although they usually move more at night. He's careful to stay away from the movements. After a while, he begins to stagger. Oh, it's still the build. It's all worth it, Jolene sim number 4. Just hang in there, everyone. Hang in there. After a while, he begins to stagger. He's not sure if it's fatigue, heat stroke finally catching him, or maybe he was wrong and the denaturing of the wiper fluid was worse than he thought. He tries to steady himself and keep going. After more walking, he comes to a large stretch of sand. This is good. He knows he passed over a stretch of sand in the SUV. He remembers doing donuts in it. Or at least he thinks he remembers it. He's getting woozy enough and tired enough that he's not sure what he remembers anymore, or if he's hallucinating. But he thinks he remembers it. So he heads off into it, trying to get to the other side, hoping that it gets him closer to the town. It would make sense that if you aren't, I swear if the build-up is an hour, I said this would be almost 10 minutes, Jolene, sip number 4. Got to go now. See y'all. Are you going to miss the end of the joke, Crazy Wizard Reel? Well, I forgive you. It'll be in the VOD. Don't worry. I'll personally DM you the end of the joke, Crazy Wizard Reel. I'll DM you the 10-minute long joke. We're now at 9 minutes. Well, I mean, I can talk really fast. It would make sense if you aren't drinking water, then you're diluting your body with other fluid. Your body got to get rid of. Noted. Good evening, Max Headroom. Welcome in, Full Frontal Nerdity. He's a wizard. He knows all. Yeah, well, Crazy Wizard Reel already knows. Yes. Gen Dude's got it. Anyway. He was heading for a town, wasn't he? He thinks he was. He isn't sure anymore. He's not even sure how long he's been walking anymore. Is it still moving? Or has it moved into afternoon and the sun is going down again? It must be afternoon. It seems like it's been too long since he started out. No, slow it down. You have to talk slower. He walks through the sand. After a while, he comes to a big dune in the sand. This is bad. He doesn't remember any dunes when driving over the sand in his SUV, or at least he doesn't think he remembers any. This is bad. This is the theatrical version of the joke. This is the Schneider cut, actually. This is well, I was chuckling for a good minute. This is absurd. Well, you have at least one good minute more, Jolene, sip number 4. But he has no other direction to go. Too late to turn back now. He figures that he'll get to the top of the dune and see if he can see anything there that helps him find the town. He keeps going up the dune. Halfway up, he slips in the bad footing of the sand for the second or third time and falls to his knees. He doesn't feel like getting back up. He'll just fall down again. So he keeps going up the dune on his hands and knees. Wow, desperate situation much? The Dan Schneider cut? Yeah, I won't even get into what that one's all about. Nothing good, I think. That's a very different type of joke, Jazzahall_VT. While crawling, if his throat weren't so dry, he'd laugh. He's finally gotten to the hackneyed image of a man lost in the desert, crawling through the sand on his hands and knees. What a desperate spot for our protagonist. It would be the perfect image, he imagines, if only his clothes were more ragged. The people crawling through the desert in the cartoons always had ragged clothes, but his have lasted without any rips so far. Somebody will probably find his desiccated corpse half buried in the sand from now, and his clothes will still be in fine shape. Shake the sand out and a good wash, and they'd be wearable again. He wishes his throat were wet enough to laugh. He coughs a little instead, and it hurts. Jokesy, yeah, this is episode 1. He finally makes it to the top of the sand dune. Now that he's at the top, he struggles a little. This is all going to be worth it. I promise, Clonkheads. I promise. This is a solemn oath for me to you that this is going to be worth it. Now that he's at the top, he struggles a little, but manages to stand up and look around. All he sees is sand. Welcome in X-Widget 1. Meta commentary is delaying the end of this, and then he collapses and dies from dehydration and methanol poisoning. At this point, I ain't leaving. Well, if you leave, I will never forgive you. No, you can leave. You can't make 10-minute long clips, can you? Well, I think we're past 10 minutes at this point. I can see why ModClonk has heard this one before. I think I forced ModClonk to read this to me.
Early in our relationship.
Yes. You can make highlights. We'll have to make I'll make this into a whole ass YouTube video. We'll cut out all of the little interruptions. He finally makes it to the top of the sand dune. Now that he's at the top, he struggles a little, but manages to stand up and look around. Please start over. Okay. Well, whatever. I was going to scroll to the top, but I wouldn't find my place again. He manages to stand up and look around. All he sees is sand. Sand and more sand. Behind him, about a mile away, he thinks he sees the rocky ground he left to head into this sand. Ahead of him, more dunes, more sand. This isn't where he drove his SUV. This is hell, or close enough. Again, he doesn't know what to do. He decides to drink the rest of the wiper fluid while figuring it out. He takes out the bottle and is removing the cap when he glances to the side and sees something. Something in the sand. At the bottom of the dune, off to the side, he sees something strange. It's a flat area in the sand. He stops taking the cap of the bottle off and tries to look closer. The area seems to be circular, and it's dark. Darker than the sand. And there seems to be something in the middle of it, but he can't tell what it is. He looks as hard as he can, and still can tell from here. He's going to have to go down there and look. We should clarify. Short joke break. He puts the bottle back in his pocket and starts to stumble down the dune. After a few steps, he realizes that he's in trouble. He's not going to be able to keep his balance. After a couple of more sliding, tottering steps, he falls and starts to roll down the dune. The sand is so hot when his body hits it that for a minute he thinks he's caught fire on the way down, like a movie car wreck flashing into flames as it goes over the cliff before it ever even hits the ground. He closes his eyes and mouth, covers his face with his hands, and waits to stop rolling. Man, if someone raids right at the end of the joke and misses the setup, we'll have to retell it, Sealed Shield. He stops at the bottom of the dune. After a minute or two, he finds enough energy to try to sit up and get the sand out of his face and clothes. When he clears his eyes enough, he looks around to make sure that the dark spot in the sand is still there and he hadn't just imagined it. So, seeing the large, flat, dark spot on the sand is still there, he begins... Welcome in Lip Lounge. Shoot, you came in a minute ago? Well, I'm glad. It's, it'll all work out in the end. Hi, guys. What's this joke? Welcome in Omnistar as well. Well, we're taking a brief joke break, Omnistar. It'll be maybe a 5 or 10 minute joke break. So, seeing the large, flat, dark spot on the sand is still there, he begins to crawl towards it. He'd get up and walk towards it, but he doesn't seem to have the energy to get up and walk right now. He must be in the final stages of dehydration, he figures, as he crawls. If this place in the sand doesn't have water, he'll likely never make it anywhere else. This is his last chance. He gets closer and closer, but still can't see what's in the middle of the dark area. His eyes won't quite focus anymore for some reason, and lifting his head up to look takes so much effort that he gives up trying. He just keeps crawling. You've only missed a little bit. Finally, he reaches the area he'd seen from the dune. It takes him a minute of crawling on it before he realizes that he's no longer on sand. He's now crawling on some kind of dark stone. Stone with some kind of marking on it. A pattern cut into the stone. How mysterious. Can I rehear it? Yes, you can. I'll link the whole joke at the end, Omnistar. No worries. And I mean, it doesn't matter. You're always welcome. XOXO. Will you cut some responses? I'll release it raw, I'm sure. Raw, unedited. Rock and stone, yeah. It's all the setup. It's all just, yes, the setup. He's too tired to stand up and try and see what the pattern is, so he just keeps crawling. He crawls towards the center, where his blurry eyes still see something in the middle of the dark stone area. His mind, detached in a strange way, notes that either his knees... Welcome in Plutonium. Why was the circle sad? Because he was pointless. Well, aren't there infinite points in a circle? It's like a... There's...
Keep going.
Okay. His mind, detached in a straight way, notes that either his hands and knees are so burnt by the sand that they no longer feel pain, or that this dark stone in the middle of a burning desert with a pounding, punishing sun overhead doesn't seem to be hot. It almost feels cool. He considers lying down on the nice, cool surface. Cool, dark stone. Not a good sign. He must be hallucinating this. He's probably in the middle of a patch of sand, already laying face down and dying, and just imagining this whole thing. A desert mirage. Soon the beautiful women carrying pitchers of water, God, I wish that was me, will come up and start giving him a drink. Then he'll know he's gone. He decides against laying down on the cool stone. If he's going to die here in the middle of this hallucination, he at least wants to see what's in the center before he goes. He keeps crawling. It's the third time that he hears the voice before he realizes what he's hearing. He would swear that someone just said, "Greetings, traveler. You do not look well. Do you hear me?"
Attention.
Welcome, Olga Okami. Fuck, it's too long. I can't keep up. I'm out of breath. Thank you for your attention. Oh, now it goes again. Welcome in Olga Okami. The Lolly Lilo, yes. This is such a good stream. Such underrated content on Twitch.tv, isn't there? Patriots, take them out, yes. Anyway, I'll talk over this. We're doing Buddhist chants, yes. Got those nerd lungs. Welcome in Akashic Magic. That's almost as good as the one I love. I don't know if you could do it with my TTS. People do it on like Soda Pop and stream all the time. The beach mouse, beach mouse, beach mouse, beach mouse. That's prime stream content for addled Zoomer brains like mine. Let's go on a tangent. So I've already forgotten where we are. I have to start from the beginning. Anyway, the voice said, "Greetings, traveler. You do not look well. Do you hear me?" He stops crawling. He tries to look up from where he is on his hands and knees, but it's too much effort to lift his head. So he tries something different. He leans back and tries to sit up on the stone. After a few seconds, he catches his balance, avoids falling on his face, sits up, and tries to focus his eyes. Oh, do we get a raid?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Welcome in, Yuki VT. We really have to start over. Hello, everybody. Welcome in, Yuki VT. Sorry, I have it open on the thing where I usually watch the stream to see the raid, so I didn't see it. Oh, no. Welcome in. Not bad timing, actually, Yuki VT. The best timing of all. How are you doing, Yuki VT? I stopped in your stream a little bit earlier, doing a little bit of coding today. What was up? What was on the menu for the Colonq hits? If they please, by all means, Yuki VT, incredibly talented programming streamer, does so much cool stuff, has so many cool little integrations and funny little features. Welcome in Fox Finale, welcome in Liquid Cake 1, welcome in Ascento and Crazy Stewie and all friends. You got the stew eyes. We're stewing. We're taking a short little break, friends from Yuki VT. We're taking a short little break to tell a joke. We're still in the early phases of the joke, so I don't think you're going to miss much. So I can give the year in review for the joke. Welcome in Exia Quanta VT as well. I see that VT in your name. I click follow. I see VT. I click follow. Welcome in you've been here, X-Widget 1. The story self-references. It puts the listener in the position of the protagonist because the listener is also in agony. Yes, exactly. You're starting to get it. This is what we call like linguistic skeuomorphism or something. Thank you for the follow, Fabius111 as well. This is the joke that never ends. Yes, etc., etc. I'm making a thing to have text flow along a Bezier curve. Nearly got the first part of it working. Well, that's awesome, Yuki VT. That's way more like. I wish I knew more about math. I used to be a good little mathlete. And I've been out of practice for so long. I need to get more into that, I think. And thank you for the follow, Joeltrus, as well. Good to see you, good to see you. Joel, any Joelers? There's a passage from 5 Weeks in a Balloon, just like this, that I love. Good evening, good to see you, Fabius. I assume you're the same Fabius. Fabius, we know you. I think you're the same Fabius. Anyway. LLLL Colonq's not locked in here with us. Did I hear Joel and Stone? Yeah, anyway. So what we're doing right now is we're telling a short joke. We're telling a short joke. If you know this joke, don't ruin the joke, please. As a summary for what's happened in the joke so far, basically a man got lost in the desert and abandoned his car, wandered off into the dunes trying to find a town, drank some windshield wiper fluid, and now has stumbled into a cool stone area, and he's hearing a mysterious voice. No summaries from the top. Well, I think we'd be here forever if we did it from the top again. That's as much as I'm dedicated to the bit. Thank you for the follow, Exia Quanta VT. As dedicated as I am to the bit, I think I must. I don't know. Anyway, but Yuki VT, before you go, if I assume you're sleepy, please observe. I don't know if you got to see this. You were here the other day, but you can look at these funny things you can do. It's Yuki V roll. You can do. It's hard to make out slightly because it goes a little too fast, I think. But you can do. Yes, you were there. You were here. I never remember who precisely is here, and I have to apologize. I'm ashamed. But anyway, we have a Yuki roll for all the Yuki. Any Yuki fans in the chat? You better be a Yuki fan after you're here. Thank you for the follow, Ascento as well. Ascento. Such a nice thing to say. You have to do it twice, Jolene. If you do it twice, it caches the emote the first time. Just do it a second time. Thank you. Is that Takahata? Is that the funny little bartender man? I learned recently, is Takahata 101, was he a member of Team 4 Star? I was sort of half listening to Hina Bobina last night, and something to that effect was brought up. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's wild stuff. Anyway, let's continue. He's in Kick-Assy. Yes, I heard. That's the part I heard, right? Man, well, we'll get to that at some other point. We'll get to that particular piece of lore at some other point. You thought you had spaghetti hair. Welcome in Brace for Haste, too. Yeah, we have emote hair now. We have the emote hair feature. All cell voices in a bridge in Kami. That's fucking wild. Anyway, to continue the joke, we have to get back to business. If we're ever going to finish this joke, we need to. I mean, I might be This is important. So, I mean, you've all heard the summary, right? It's a man, only your emotes, any emotes praise for haste. As long as it's been used at least once in my chat, you can do it. So feel free to experiment. And it works with animated emotes. So if I'm sure you're wet. Why did it break? Why does bwe not work? I don't know why that one. It seems like exactly yours doesn't work. Wait, it says rate. Wait, this new rating thing. They updated the rating UI. Now it says YukiVT is the raid boss, and it's giving me a thing to add YukiVT as guest star. Brace for haste emotes personally are trolling my feature. You're now the raid boss, YukiVT. And I can click a button to add you as guest star. So we got to do some guest star integration soon. Guest star arc soon. We need to have guests. I think guests would make this joke much better. We need a live audience to laugh. Anyway, let's continue the joke before I get too distracted. He heard the voice. And he sat up. After a few seconds, he catches his balance. Yeah, so true. I guess we don't mesh well together. How unfortunate. How unfortunate, Braze for Haste. I mean, I am a gamer, and you are the game console, so I mean, you would think that it would be a match made in heaven for collaboration, but unfortunately, it seems like maybe not. Anyway, he catches his balance, avoids falling on his face, sits up, and tries to focus his eyes. Welcome in Coffee Cafe. Hey now, you're the guest star, game your game on. Yeah, you know exactly Coffee Cafe. You are a knower. This is the longest short. Well, I haven't even been reading the joke, YukiVT, right? I think we're getting into the joke. We're getting close to approaching to considering the end. It's been 25 minutes so far. Yes. I mean, you have to know, relative to the normal length of these streams, we have since you've been here, we have not started the joke, YukiVT. Welcome in I Am Panis as well. We're taking a short joke break. All programmer fans, there will be programming after the jokes. Let's see here. So, okay. He rubs his eyes with the back of his hands and tries again. Better this time. Yep, he can see. He's sitting in the middle of a large, flat, dark expanse of stone. Directly next to him, welcoming Nova as well. Do who laugh indeed. Directly next to him, about 3 feet away, is a white post or pole about 2 inches in diameter and sticking up about 4 or 5 feet out of the stone at an angle. And wrapped around this white rod, tail with rattle on it, hovering and seeming to be ready to start rattling, is what must be a 15-foot-long desert diamondback rattlesnake looking directly at him. He stares at the snake in shock. He doesn't have the energy to get up and run away. He doesn't even have the energy to crawl away. This is it, his final resting place. No matter what happens, he's not going to be able to move from this spot. Well, at least dying from a bite from this monster should be quicker than dying of thirst. He'll face his end like a man. He struggles to sit up a little straighter. The snake keeps watching him. He lifts
Happy
one
Star
hand.
Wars Day, everyone. Today is also my birthday. And because it's my birthday, I get to introduce you to my girlfriend.
Well, it's in the desert. There must be a snake. I can switch it one. It's a necessity, basically. He lifts one hand and waves it in the snake's direction feebly. The snake watches the hand for a moment, then goes back to watching the man, looking into his eyes. Maybe the snake had no interest in biting him. It hasn't rattled yet. That was a good sign. Maybe he wasn't going to die of snake bite after all. He then remembers what he looked up when he remembers that he looked up when he reached the center here because he thought he'd heard a voice. He was still very woozy. He was likely to pass out soon. The sun still beat down on him, even though he was now on cool stone. He still didn't have anything to drink, but maybe he had actually heard a voice. This stone didn't look natural, nor did that white post sticking up out of the stone. Someone had to have built this. Maybe they were still nearby. Maybe that was who talked to him. Maybe this snake was even their pet, and that's why it wasn't biting. He tries to clear his throat to say hello, but his throat is too dry. All that comes out is a coughing or wheezing sound. Welcome in Doohoo, Colonq. So true. So true. We're getting Colonq pilled at the moment. We're going Colonq style. We're keeping it Colonq style. It's Doohoo. It's Doohoo. We should shout out Doohoo. I like Doohoo. Doohoo is my friend. Doohoo, other people are my friend too, but Doohoo is also my friend. We're going Clonkers, yes. Anyway, he's saying hello, coughing or wheezing sound. There's no way he's going to be able to talk without something to drink. He feels his pocket, and the bottle with the wiper fluid is still there. He shakily pulls the bottle out, almost losing his balance and falling on his back in the process. This isn't good. He doesn't have much time left, by his reckoning, before he passes out. He gets the lid off of the bottle, manages to get the bottle to his lips, and pours some of the fluid into his mouth. He sloshes it around and then swallows it. He coughs a little. His throat feels better. Maybe he can talk now. He tries again. Ignoring the snake, he turns to look around him, hoping to spot the owner of this place, and croaks out, "Hello? Is there anyone here?" He hears from his side, "Greetings. What is it that you want?" He turns his head back towards the snake. That's where the sound seemed to have come from. The only thing he can think is that there must be a speaker hidden under the snake, or maybe built into the post. Fluids for milking the joke. Yeah, you have to get the joke milk in order to hydrate yourself. I mean, there are parallels. As we said, there is linguistic skeuomorphism happening. There are parallels between you as the listener of this joke and, well, you know, you'll get it. You'll get it. It's kind of a deep, I mean, with this much setup, it's an incredibly deep and nuanced type joke. He decides to try asking for help. "Please," he croaks again, suddenly feeling dizzy. "I'd love to not be thirsty anymore. I've been a long time without water. Can you help me?" Looking in the direction of the snake, hoping to see where the voice was coming from this time, he is shocked to see the snake rear back, open its mouth, and speak. He hears it say as the dizziness overtakes him and he falls forward, face first on the stone. Very well, coming up. A piercing pain shoots through his shoulder. Suddenly he is awake. He sits up and grabs his shoulder, wincing at the throbbing pain. He's momentarily disoriented as he looks around, and then he remembers the crawl across the sand, the dark area of stone, the snake. He sees the snake, still wrapped around the tilted white post, still looking at him. He reaches up and feels his shoulder where it hurts. It feels slightly wet. He pulls his fingers away and looks at them. Blood. He feels his shoulder again. His shirt has what feels like 2 holes in it, 2 puncture holes, and they match up with the 2 aching spots of pain on his shoulder. He had been bitten by the snake. OMG, well, we're in episode 2 of the joke now, Steffi Saw. We're still, I mean, just hang in there. We're almost done. We're almost done with the joke. Welcome in Enlin as well. Good to see you. 30 minutes. Yeah, thank you for keeping watchmakering, fulfilling, living up to watchmakering's name. Keeping the time, a very late Ukraine. Well, it's good to see you. OMG, yeah. We're in the middle of the short joke break now, Extra Drifter. I'm telling the joke. You have a stopwatch going. Did you make the stopwatch, watchmakering? Just 5 more minutes. I said every 5 minutes. Yes. Well, I mean, maybe you're starting to. Well, you've been bitten by the snake. It'll feel better in a minute. He looks up. It's the snake talking. He hadn't dreamed it. Suddenly, he notices he's not dizzy anymore, and more importantly, he's not thirsty anymore at all. Have I died? Is this the afterlife? Why are you biting me in the afterlife? Sorry about that, but I had to bite you, says the snake. That's the way it works. It all comes through the bite. Think of it as natural medicine. Hi, welcome in Komori _ too. Good to see you. How are you doing, Komori? Chronograph on my wrist, my daily watch. Well, not one I made. I see. What is your it's a going about type of watch. What is your preferred watchmaker? I'm not too into watches, like, but I guess I could be into watches. I mean, maybe I'll become that sort of person that just has like very expensive watches. That'll be my new thing. It's kind of my new thing. I mean, actually, honestly, if you ever start selling watches, watchmakering, that would be a very cool. I will totally pay money for a watch, even if it's an expensive watch. That'd be sick to have a watch that someone you knew made. So I guess put me on the list. Have I died? Is this the afterlife? Why are you biting me in the afterlife? Well, this comes in through the bite, etc., etc. You bit me to help me? Why aren't I thirsty anymore? Did you give me a drink before you bit me? How did I drink enough while unconscious to not be thirsty anymore? I haven't had a drink for over 2 days. Well, except for the windshield wiper fluid. Hold it. How in the world does a snake talk? Are you real? Are you some sort of Disney animation? No, says the snake. I'm real. As real as you or anyone is, anyway. I didn't give you a drink. I bit you. That's how it works. It's what I do. I bite. I don't have hands to give you a drink, even if I had water just sitting around here. The man sat stunned for a minute. Here he was, sitting in the middle of the desert on some strange stone that should be hot but wasn't, talking to a snake that could talk back and had just bitten him. And he felt better. Not great, he was still starving and exhausted, but much better. He was no longer thirsty. He had started to sweat again, but only slightly. He felt hot in the sun, but it was starting to get lower in the sky. In the cool stone beneath him, was a relief he could notice now that he was no longer dying of thirst. Welcome in, Patty Wax Knickknacks. The CIA put a chip in my brain, now I hear colors. That's an unfortunate occurrence. It's good to see you, Patty. It's been a minute here, I think. We're taking a short joke break. It's a short joke break. So far, it's been a man who's gotten lost in the desert, and now he's encountered a strange snake. Don't spoil the joke if you know it. I'm actually surprised no way the CIA is cool enough to make that. Yeah, we have the CIA synesthesia chip. Yeah. I might suggest that we take care of that methanol you now have in your system with the next request, continued the snake. I can guess why you drank it, but I'm not sure how much you drank or how much methanol was left in the wiper fluid. That stuff is nasty. It'll make you go blind in a day or two if you drank enough of it. Next request, said the man. He put his hand back on his hurting shoulder and backed away from the snake a little. That's the way it works. If you like, that is, explained the snake. You get 3 wishes. You get 3 requests. Call them wishes if you wish. The snake grinned at his own joke, and the man drew back a little further from the show of fangs. I love Modclonk's laugh after the word short. Yes, the Olgo Kami. You're starting to. Hello, ASCII God, the one that shares wisdom in the sacred language of bliss. Welcome in, Pablo Pepe69. We're taking a short joke break at the moment. But there are rules, the snake continued. The first request is free. The second requires an agreement of secrecy. The third requires the binding of responsibility. The snake looks at the man seriously. By the way, the snake says suddenly, my name is Nathan. Old Nathan, Samuel used to call me. He gave me that name. Before that, most of the bound used to call me Snake. But that got old, and Samuel wouldn't stand for it. He said that anything that could talk needed a name. He was big into names. You can call me Nate, if you wish. Again, the snake grinned. Sorry if I don't offer to shake, but I think you can understand. My shake sounds somewhat threatening. The snake gave his rattle a little shake. Is this a ChatGPT joke? No, this is a human written joke. We have Nate the snake now. We have a loser situation. Who's being told they're a loser? Is this a funny loser moment? Screaming. So do the other colors. It's all screaming all the time. Even when I close my eyes, because you never not see a color. Yeah, I mean that's kind of true actually. Even in the real world, in the non CIA mind chip world, right? Like it's almost like you're always seeing colors all the time. That's so deep. That's so true. You can never not seeing colors. Anyway. My name is Jack, said the man, trying to absorb all of this. Jack Sampson. Can I ask you a question? Jack says suddenly. What happened to the poison in your bite? Why aren't I dying now? How did you do that? What did you mean by that's how you work? That's more than one question, grins Nate, but I'll still try to answer all of them. First, yes, you could ask me a question. The snake's grin gets wider. Second, the poison is in you. It changed you. You now no longer need to drink. That's what you asked for. Or, well, technically, you asked to not be thirsty anymore, but anymore is such a vague term. I decided to make it permanent. Now, as long as you live, you shouldn't need to drink much at all. Your body will just conserve water very efficiently. You should be able to get enough just from the food you eat, much like a creature of the desert. You've been changed. And before this transitions into a brick joke. Not complaining, but this is a short joke. How long do long jokes? Well, I mean, you don't want to find out, Coffee Cafe. You don't want to know. They're long. We keep them long.
It's the long man.
Yeah, long man. For the third question, Nate continues, you are still dying. Besides the effects of the methanol in your system, you're a man, and men are mortal. We're vibing. Short super idle break. We keep them 12 inches. Yeah, we keep them foot long around here. We go for foot longs only. In your current state, I give you no more than about another 50 years, assuming you get out of this desert alive, that is. Nate seemed vastly amused at his own humor and continued his wide grin. As for the fourth question, Nate said, looking more serious as far as Jack could tell, as Jack was just now working on. Yeah, maybe the 50 years parallels the experience of the listener of the joke. Perhaps. Welcome in Brongulus as well. And MacD87, I think you followed earlier, something like this, and I probably said hello, but hello again. As for the fourth question, Nate said, looking more serious as far as Jack could tell, as Jack was just now working on his ability to read talking snake emotions from snake facial features. First, you have to agree to make a second request and become bound by the secrecy, or I can't tell you. Wait, joked Jack, isn't this where you say you could tell me, but you'd have to kill me? I thought that was implied. Nate continued to look serious. Yeah. Jack leaned back a little as he remembered again that he was talking to a 15-foot poisonous reptile with a reputation for having a nasty temper. So what is this bound by secrecy stuff? And can you really stop the effects of the methanol? Jack thought for a second. And what do you mean methanol anyway? I thought these days they use ethanol in wiper fluid and just denature it? They may. I don't really know, said Nate. I haven't gotten out in a while. Maybe they do. All I know is that I smell methanol on your breath and on that bottle in your pocket. And the blue color of the liquid when you pulled it out to drink some, let me guess that it was wiper fluid. I assume that they still color wiper fluid blue? Read the MSDS? Yeah. The snake has an NDA? Yes. Can we get a paid 50-year break from it? Yes, please, God. This joke is neuro-linguistic program in action. So true. Yeah, they do, said Jack in response to the query about the wiper fluid. I figured, replied Nate. As for being bound by secrecy, with the fulfillment of your next request, you will be bound to say nothing about me, this place, or any of the information I will tell you after that when you decide to go back out to your kind. You won't be allowed to talk about me, write about me, use sign language, charades, or even act in a way that will lead someone to guess correctly about me. You'll be bound to secrecy. Of course, I'll also ask you to promise not to give me away, as I'm guessing that you're a man of your word. You'll never test the binding anyway, so you won't notice. Nate said the last part with utter confidence. In Australia, welcome in Connie Enjoyer as well. We're telling a short joke at the moment. Good to see you, by the way. It's a joke about, well, it's a man lost in a desert, and now he's talking to a magic snake. Has been the lead up so far. It'll probably be another, I don't know, maybe another 10 minutes before we finish it up. So you'll have time to catch up. Jack, who had always prided himself on being a man of his word, felt a little nervous at this. Hey Nate, who are you? How did you know that? Are you, omniscient or something? Well, Jack, said Nate sadly, I can't tell you that unless you make the second request. Nate looked away for a minute, then looked back. Well, okay. What is this about a second request? What can I ask for? Are you allowed to tell me that? Sure, said Nate, brightening. You're allowed to ask for changes to yourself. They're like wishes, but they can only affect you. Oh, and before you ask, I can't give you immortality or omniscience or omnipresence for that matter, although I might be able to make you gaseous and yet remain alive, and then you could spread through the atmosphere and be sort of omnipresent. But what good would that be? You still wouldn't be omniscient and thus still could only focus on one thing at a time. Not very useful, at least in my opinion. Nate stopped when he realized that Jack was staring at him. We're at 40 minutes now, thank you.
Oh my God.
Well, anyway, continued Nate, I'd probably suggest giving you permanent good health. It would negate the methanol now in your system, and you'd be immune to most poisons and diseases, and you tend to live a very long time, barring accident, of course. And you'll even have a tendency to recover from accidents well. It always seemed like a good choice for a request to me. Cure the methanol poisoning? Huh, said Jack, and keep me healthy for a long time? It doesn't sound bad at that, and it has to be a request about a change to me. I can't ask to be rich, right? Because that's not really a change to me. Right, nodded Nate. Could I ask to be a genius and permanently healthy? Jack asked, hopefully. That takes 2 requests, Jack. Yeah, I figured so, said Jack, but I could ask to be a genius. I could become the smartest scientist in the whole world, or the best athlete. Well, I could make you very smart, admitted Nate, but that wouldn't necessarily make you the best scientist in the world. Or I could make you very athletic, but it wouldn't necessarily make you the best athlete either. You've heard the saying that 99% of genius is hard work? Well, there's some truth to that. I can give you the talent, but I can't make you work hard. It all depends on what you decide to do with it. Welcome in JMC Task too. Good to see you. It's been a minute, JMC Task. I think we're taking a short joke break. There's so many people. Oh, I wouldn't know, but we've had a lot of Colonq heads lately. We've made so many new friends. I should do the thing. If you want to continue to be friends, if you want to hear if you have to head out and you're gonna miss the end of the joke, you should come to the Discord where I'll be reciting this joke every night for the next week. Anyway, we have to continue the joke now. Said Jack. Okay, I think I understand, and I get the third request after this one. Honestly, 90% of the short joke break is explaining that this is a short. It's true, you know. It just depends on what you decide then. There are more rules for the third request that I can only tell you about after the second request. You know how it goes. Nate looked like he'd shrug if he had shoulders. Brevity is the soul. I disagree, obviously. Okay, well, since I'd rather not be blind in a day or two, and permanent health doesn't sound bad, then consider that my second request. Officially, do I need to sign in blood or something? No, said Jake, just hold out your hand, or heel. Nate grinned, or whatever part you want me to bite. I have to bite you again. Like I said, that's how it works, the poison, you know, Nate said apologetically. Sorry, I arrived in the middle of the joke. Do you mind starting? We'll make sure to start over once it's done. We'll do a loop. We'll tell it twice, so people who missed the first part can hear it on the second time around. Jack winced a little and felt his shoulder. Welcome in Cat's return, by the way. Where the last bite was. Hey, it didn't hurt anymore. Just like Nate had said. That made Jack feel better with the biting business. But still standing still while a 15-foot snake sunk its fangs into you. Jack stood up, ignoring how good it felt to be able to stand again. And the hunger starting to gnaw at his stomach, Jack tried to decide where he wanted to get bitten. Despite knowing that it wouldn't hurt for long, Jack knew that this wasn't going to be easy. Hey Jack, Nate suddenly said, looking past Jack towards the dunes behind him. Is that someone else coming up over there? Jack spun around and looked. Who else could be out here in the middle of nowhere? And did they bring food? Wait a minute, there was nobody over there. What was Nate? Jack let out a bellow. Thank you for the follow, Vicious987. We're starting from the top at the end of the joke. Yes, of course. Twice as nice, yes. Oh, also, can we give a shout out? Mods, can we shout out Cat's Return, by the way? Cat's Return is also my cool friend. They're cool. We have a kind of a predilection for cool British cats in this channel. We have like at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 cool British cats that show up around here. And Cat's Return is one of them. Cat's Return is very, very nice and neat and cool. What someone said, I'll buy anything you're selling, just let me skip. Well, unfortunately, that's the only thing I cannot offer you. Ain't no way he's still going, Gedge. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe 5 or 10 more minutes, Soul Zero. I'm sorry. This is a short break. We're just taking a short joke break. My bathwater is not for sale yet. Jack let out a bellow as he felt 2 fangs sink into his rear end. We got some ass biting going on here. Nice. Through his jeans. Jack sat down carefully, favoring his more tender buttock. I would have decided eventually, Nate. I was just thinking about it. You didn't have to hoodwink me like that. I've been doing this a long time, Jack, said Nate confidently. You humans have a hard time sitting still and letting a snake bite you, especially one my size. And besides, admit it, it's only been a couple of minutes and it already doesn't hurt anymore, does it? That's because of the health benefit with this one. I told you that you heal quickly now. Yeah, well, still, said Jack. It's the principle of the thing, and nobody likes being bitten in the butt. Couldn't you have gotten my calf or something instead? More meat in the typical human butt, replied Nate, and less chance you accidentally kick me or move at the last second. Yeah, right. So tell me all these wonderful secrets that I now qualify to hear, answered Jack. Okay, said Nate. Do you want to ask questions first, or do you want me to just start talking? Yeah, you can't ever try. Well, it is a joke, Jolene, sip number 4. I mean, you're going to be laughing on the ground at the end of this. You're going to be on the floor. You're going to be rolling around. I mean, with this much setup, you know. Well, anyway, I'll leave it at that. I think. Just talk. I'll sit here. Just talk, said Jack. I'll sit here and try not to think about food. We could go try to rustle up some food for you first, if you like, answered Nate. Hey, you didn't tell me you had food around here, Nate. Jack jumped up. What do we have? Am I in walking distance to town? Or can you magically whip up food along with your other powers? Jack was almost shouting with his excitement. His stomach had been growling for hours. I was thinking more like I could flush something out of its hole and bite it for you, and you could skin it and eat it. Assuming you have a knife, that is, replied Nate, with the grin that Jack was starting to get used to. Ugh. So more meat in the human butt. It's so true. I hit the pavement 20 minutes ago. Let's see if we can hit an hour. Well, I don't know about that. That seems a little ambitious for a short joke break. Ugh, said Jack, sitting back down. I think I'll pass. I can last a little longer before I get desperate enough to eat desert rat or whatever else it is you find out here. And there's nothing to burn. I'd have to eat it raw. No thanks. Just talk. Am I muted? I'm
saying
you're muted? You're gonna mute me? Okay, replied Nate, still grinning, but I'd better hurry before you start looking at me as food. Nate reared back a second, looked around for a second, and then continued. You, Jack, are sitting in the middle of the Garden of Eden. I'll let that bombshell drop for a second. Jack looked around at the sand and dunes, and then looked back at Nate skeptically. Well, that's the best I can figure it anyway, Jack, said Nate. Stand up and look at the symbol on the rock here. Nate gestured around the dark stone they were both sitting on with his nose. Jack stood up and looked. Carving the stone was a bas-relief. In a bas-relief was... Is that how you say that? Bas-relief? Like B-A-S relief? Anyway. Is there any Colonq Rule 34? I don't think there is. I mean, you can be the creator. I'm Nostradamus. I know it's going to take over an hour. Oh, OMG, he's the devil. He's the devil. He could be the angel or the devil. Be the change you want to see in the world. Welcome in Udo. We're in the middle of a short joke break. Don't spoil it if you know it. We're telling a short joke. It's going to take maybe 5 or 10 more minutes. Where we are currently is that there's a man lost in the desert, and he's encountered a magical snake that grants wishes, and the snake has just revealed that this is the Garden of Eden. So, I mean, that's the context that you need so far, basically. That's all the setup you need. You've been here for 15 minutes of the short joke break. Anyway, let's continue. The story of Jack, right? Well, that's the best I can figure anyway, Jack. Stand up and look at the symbol on the rock. Blah, 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 blah. Carved in the stone was a bas-relief. In a bas-relief was a representation of a large tree. The angled pole that Nate was wrapped around was coming out of the trunk of the tree, right below where the main branches left the trunk to reach out across the stone. It was very well done. It looked more like a tree had been reduced to almost 2 dimensions and embedded in the stone than it did like a carving. Jack walked around and looked at the details in the fading light of the setting sun. We basically just started here, Novolino. It's only been like maybe 5 or 10 minutes so far. Her voice laughing in the background is so, well, I appreciate that. I think it's very cute as well. Looked at the details in the fading light of the setting sun. He wished he'd looked at it while the sun was higher in the sky. Wait, the sun was setting. That meant he was going to have to spend another night out here. Arrgh! He's a pirate now. Jack looked out across the desert for a little bit and then came back and stood next to Nate. In all the excitement, I almost forgot, Nate, said Jack. Which way is it back to town? And how far? I'm eventually going to have to head back. I'm not sure I'll be able to survive by eating raw desert critters for long, and even if I can, I'm not sure I'll want to. It's about 30 miles that way, Nate pointed, with the rattle on his tail this time. As far as Jack could tell, it was a direction at right angles to the way he'd been going when he was crawling here. But that's 30 minutes by the way the crow flies. It's about 40 by the way a man walks. You should be able to do it in about half a day with your improved endurance, if you head out early tomorrow, Jack. Jack looked out the way the snake had pointed for a few seconds more, and then sat back down. It was getting dark. The 7 seas calling him even in the desert. So true. Outland empires rise and fall. New eras come and go. But inside, the joke continues. Yes, you're here, right? I mean, you will all be changed individuals when you hear the ending of this joke. This will change. It changed me forever. It changed ModClonq forever, and it will change you forever. I promise that. Anyway, Jake looked at the way the snake had pointed for a few more seconds, and then sat back down. It was getting dark. Not much you could do about heading out right now. And besides, Nate was just about to get to the interesting stuff. Garden of Eden, as best as you can figure it? Yeah, as best as I and Samuel could figure it out, said Nate. He figured that the story just got a little mixed up. You know, snake in a tree, offering temptations, making bargains, that kind of stuff. But he could never quite figure out how the Hebrews found out about this spot from across the ocean. He worried about that for a while. Garden of Eden? Huh? Said Jack. How long have you been here, Nate? No idea, really, replied Nate. A long time. It never occurred to me to count years, until recently. By then it was too late. Who's ModClonq? ModClonq's my lawfully wedded wife, Udo. ModClonq is my 6'5" wife, and also the lead member of the LLLQ's team. She's my lead member of staff, actually. Fake Colonq fan? Yes, so true, so true. I mean, I've been revealed as a fake Uwu fan so many times, and now Uwu is revealed as a fake Colonq fan. I mean, it's all kind of balanced, as all things must be. ModClonq is hyping you. Yeah, ModClonq's here. Say hi, ModClonq.
Hi, I'm ModClonq.
That's ModClonq. But who was Eden? Yeah, hell yeah, brother. Anyway. But I do remember when this whole place was green, so I figure it's been thousands of years at least. So are you the snake that tempted Eve, said Jack. Beats me, said Nate. Maybe. I can't remember if the first one of you kind that I talked to was female or not. I never got a name, but it could have been. And I suppose she could have considered my offer to grant requests a temptation, although I've rarely had refusals. The Vegas stream, I see. That was the ModClonq appearance, the ModClonq full appearance. Don't boo me, I'm right. Stop nerdity. We got a nerdity connection here. The first Lisper. I'm the first person who has ever written a Lisp program who I don't want to say that. How do you say that in a way that's not, well, anyway. I'm the first person who's ever written a Lisp program on Earth. Ever. Anyway. Well, how did you get here then? And why is that white pole stuck out of the stone there? Asked Jack. Dad left me here, or I assume it was my dad. It was another snake, much bigger than I was back then. I remember talking to him, but I don't remember if it was in a language or just kind of understanding what he wanted. But one day, he brought me to this stone, told me about it, and asked me to do something for him. I talked it over with him for a while, then agreed. I've been here ever since. What is this place? Said Jack. And what did he ask you to do? Well, yeah, this is a world's first kind of situation. This is a world record PB. We don't have the speedrun tag anymore, so we don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. Well, you see this pole here sticking out of the stone? Nate loosened his coils around the tilted white pole and showed Jack where it descended into the stone. The pole was tilted at about a 45-degree angle and seemed to enter the stone in an 18-inch slot cut into the stone. Jack leaned over and looked. The slot was dark and the pole went down into it as far as Jack could see in the dim light. Jack reached out to touch the pole, but Nate was suddenly there in the way. You can't touch that yet, Jack, said Nate. Why not? Asked Jack. I haven't explained it to you yet. replied Nate. Well, it kind of looks like a lever or something, said Jack. You'd push it that way, and it would move in the slot. Yep, that's what it is, replied Nate. What does it do? Asked Jack. End the world. Oh no, said Nate. Nothing that drastic. It just ends humanity. I call it the lever of doom. For the last few words, Nate had used a deeper, ringing voice. He tried to look serious for a few seconds, and then gave up and grinned. This is the world's first short joke break on Twitch with 2 co-stars live. It's true. Not the world, it's only humanity. This will only end humanity, by the way. It's the lever of doom. Jake was initially startled by Nate's pronouncement, but when Nate grinned, Jack laughed. Ha, you almost had me fooled for a second there. What does it really do? Oh, it really ends humanity, like I said, smirked Nate. I just thought the voice I used was funny, didn't you? Nate continued to grin. 5 or 10 more minutes, guys. Just wait. A lever to end humanity, asked Jack. What in the world is that for? Why would anyone need to end humanity? Well, replied Nate, I get the idea that maybe humanity was an experiment. Or maybe the big guy just thought that if humanity started going really bad, there should be a way to end it. I'm not really sure. All I know is that there are rules, and the guesses that Samuel and I had about why it's here. I didn't think to ask back when I started here. Rules? What rules? Asked Jack. Humanity went too far when... Yeah, again, parallels between the structure of the joke. I swear... Okay, don't spoil Frog Bottom. Don't spoil. I'm surprised more people haven't heard this. I mean, it's a real classic. I mean, you might have heard this, like, when at a family gathering, an uncle might have told you this joke. I mean, it's just a quick joke, right? It's always 5 to... I mean, we've only been here for maybe, like, 3 or 4 minutes so far. Rules? What rules? Asks Jack. The rules are that I can't tell anybody about it or let them touch it unless they agree to be bound to secrecy by a bite. I instantly recognized that I see. So we have some people who know. Instant classic. 3 or 4 quarters of an hour. 3 or 4 days. I don't know. And that only one human can be bound in that way at a time. That's it, explained Nate. Jack looked somewhat shocked. You mean that I could pull the lever now? You'd let me end humanity? Yep, replied Nate, if you wanted to. Nate looked at Jack carefully. Do you want to, Jack? No, said Jack, stepping a little further back from the lever. Why in the world would anyone want to end humanity? It'd take a psychotic to want that. Or worse, a suicidal psychotic, because it would kill him too, wouldn't it? Yep, replied Nate. We don't have very gender-neutral language there. This joke's gotta get canceled, I think. Yep, replied Nate.
Lord.
Being as he... Yeah, we could finally end this and our suffering. Yep, replied Nate, being as he'd be human too. Has anyone ever seriously considered it? Asked Nate. And any of those bound to secrecy, that is? Well, of course. I think they've all seriously considered it one time or another. Being given that kind of responsibility makes you sit down and think, or so I'm told. Samuel considered it several times. He'd often get disgusted with humanity, come out here and just hold the lever for a while. But he never pulled it, or you wouldn't be here. Nate grinned some more. Jake sat down, well back from the lever. Do you have to redo the joke with... Oh, yes, we have to restart the whole thing, Extra Drifter. When we already said we were going to tell it twice. We're going to restart it for everyone who missed the first part. I mean, you're all here now, so if you want to hear the full thing, you have to... Yeah. Anyway, Jack sat down well back from the lever. He looked thoughtful and puzzled at the same time. After a bit, so this makes me the judge of humanity? I get to decide whether they keep going? Or just end? Me? That seems to be it, agreed Nate. What kind of criteria do I use to decide? Said Jack. How do I make this decision? Am I supposed to decide if they're good, or too many of them are bad, or that they're going the wrong way? Is there a set of rules for that? Nope, replied Nate. You pretty much just have to decide on your own. It's up to you, however you want to decide it. I guess that you're just supposed to know. But what if I get mad at someone, or some girl dumps me and I feel horrible? Couldn't I make a mistake? How do I know that I won't screw up? Protested Jack. The milk is being milked. I'm waiting for Twitch to throw up an ad. Yeah, if there's any ads, I'm gonna gift mods. Gift 25 subs. Yeah, mods. Gift 150 subs. Anyway, Nate gave his kind of snake-like shrug again. You don't. You just have to try your best, Jack. Jack sat there for a while, staring off into the desert that was rapidly getting dark, chewing on a fingernail. And this is such a deep situation. This is... At Clonkers, what would you do if you were put in this position? Huh? So I'm thinking I would pull the lever at the current juncture. I don't know, though. Maybe that's just my current mental state. My current status. Jack sat there for a while, staring off into the desert that was rapidly getting dark. You need to get up. Yeah, take a break. Make sure you get water. Stand up and stretch. Stretch break. Stretch break. Stretch break. Stretch. 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 You won't stretch?
No.
Okay, well I'm stretched now. Everyone stretch. We have 5 or 10 minutes to go. I'd be like Colonq and just pull the lever. Yeah, very true. Good stuff, Ascento. Good stuff. I would simply not drive alone through the desert. Yeah, what would not you just if you drive with another person, then you'd be it'd be uncomfortable because only one. Do you have time to get a drink? Yes, get a drink. Get a drink. We're gonna take a short break from the joke break. Mental damage. Welcome in ice lasers too.
What's our time at?
What's the time? What's the fake time at? What's the fake time that Watchmaker is making up at? I'd pull the lever. Holding your everyone piss. Pause the timer. Yeah, pause now.
Oh my god.
Everyone say whenever we're gonna set we'll
Counting time?
it's time to count. It's time to count. It's time to count to 1,000. Okay, can I go walk the dog? I don't know if you have time for that, Watch. Maybe you do. You have to put me on headphones. You have to put me on speakers so loud that you can hear me outdoors. Jump to the center of the earth. I was in the restroom. Chat is the joke over. We have another 5 to 10 minutes, Pablo Pepe 69. We're getting kind of close. Short break. We're taking a short break in the short joke break in case anyone needs to pee, anyone needs to, get a little water. I'll start up again shortly. Yeah, you'll have to catch it again. Any details you miss, you have to catch them again a second time.
No.
No, you're spoiling the joke, Mod Colonq. Mod Colonq's spoiling. Mod Colonq, you need to go enjoy your gaming. Go game.
No.
Miku, we're going Miku mode? Yeah, so true. So true. Plutonium, okay, this is good. You mentioned pirate. What's the pirate's favorite? Oh, I think it's, what is it actually? A? The first letter of R? The first letter of the way you spell R? It's spelled A-R-R-R. So I think it must be A. ARR. We're in Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn on stream. Yeah. You think it's matey, it is matey, but it's really the C. Ha ha ha. Oh man, that's so good. It's ARG, it's ARG. This is actually this is an ARG, yeah. It's an elaborate true. Any Bool enjoyers? Yeah. I gotta go now. Can I take this short? Well, again, extra. We'll make sure we'll clip it. We'll clip it. Don't worry. Don't you worry. Again, anyone who has to go, I'll personally message you. Myself reading. It'll be a personalized recording for you alone. It'll be on Vocaroo. I'll record a Vocaroo, and it'll be me. It'll be individually. The little comments that I make in between paragraphs to make sure you know that I'm still here and that this isn't a recording. I'll individually address them to you. That's kind of one of the advanced Patreon features. You have to be a tier 3 for that kind of treatment, I think. Bye Exodrifter. Anyway, I think it's about ready to get back into things, I think, right? Are we ready to continue? Is everyone back? Is everyone pissed? Have you all pissed? Is it time? I don't know how to tell if people come back, right? It's so hard. Chaotic Quixotic has been here since the beginning. I'm not gonna allow that. You just barely back. Excellent. How do I tier 3? I don't know how you tier 3. Liquid Cake, well, you're ready to pull the lever. Okay. Everyone's back, I think. We're so back. Okay, let's continue. So Jack was chewing on his fingernail, thinking about the deep and twisted psychological implications of this lever. Suddenly, Jack looked around and looked at the snake. Nate, was Samuel the one bound to this before me? Yep, replied Nate. He was a good guy. Talked to me a lot. Taught me to read and brought me books. I think I still have a good pile of them buried in the sand around here somewhere. I still miss him. He died a few months ago. Rip, pour one out. 4 good guys. He sounds like a good guy, agreed Jack. How did he handle this when you first told him? What did he do? Well, said Nate, he sat down for a while, thought about it for a bit, and then asked me some questions, much like you're doing. What did he ask you, if you're allowed to tell me? He asked me about the third request, replied Nate. Aha, it was Jack's turn to grin. And what did you tell him? I told him the rules for the third request. F, thoughts and... Yeah, Mod Colonq is a real saint.
It's good, I like
that to get the third request, you have to agree to this whole thing. That if it ever comes to the point that you really think that humanity should be ended, that you'll come here and end it. You won't avoid it, and you won't wimp out. Nate looks serious again, and you'll be bound to do it too, Jack. Send me a physical hard copy of the joke, and I'll subscribe to the Patreon. I live in Mariana's Trench. Excellent. Jack looked back out into the darkness for a while. Nate watched him, waiting. Nate, continued Jack quietly, eventually, what did Samuel ask for with his third request? Nate sounded like he was grinning again as he replied, also quietly. Wisdom, Jack. Oh, it started again. Just add another. We've been doing this for like a minute. Yeah, plus 2 minutes. Wisdom, Jack. He asked for wisdom, as much as I could give him. Okay, said Jack, suddenly, standing up and facing away from Nate. Give it to me. Nate looked at Jack's backside. Ayo? Huh? Huh? Ayo? Give you what, Jack? Give me that wisdom. The same stuff that Samuel asked for. If it helped him, maybe it'll help me too. Jack turned his head to look back over his shoulder at Nate. It did help him, right? He said it did, replied Nate, but he seemed a little quieter afterward, like he had a lot to think about. Well, yeah, I can see that, said Jack, so give it to me. Jake turned to face away from Nate again, bent over slightly and tensed up. Ayo? Nate... Yeah, he's got wiper fluid. we gotta get, make sure the wiper fluid is mentholated so you go blind. If it has ethanol, you're just gonna, I don't know what the details are. People probably know more about that kind of thing than I do.
So much wiper fluid for the car.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, go get it.
No.
If he bit, Nate watched Jack tense up with little exasperation. If he bit Jack now, Jack would likely jump out of his skin and maybe hurt them both. You'll remember that you'll be bound to destroy humanity if it ever looks like it needs it, right, Jack? Asked Nate, shifting position. Yeah, I got that, replied Jack, eyes squeezed tightly shut and body tense, not noticing the change in direction of Nate's voice. And, continued Nate from his new position, do you remember that you'll turn bright purple and grow big horns and extra eyes? Yeah, wait a minute, said Jack, opening his eyes and straightening up and turning around. Purple, he didn't see Nate there. With the moonlight, Jack could see that the lever extended up from its slot in the rock without the snake wrapped around it. Jack heard from behind him, I prefer isopropyl with a dash of formaldehyde, samesies. Jack heard from behind him Nate's just kidding right before he felt the now familiar piercing pain, this time in the other buttock. Jack sat on the edge of the dark stone in the rapidly cooling air, his feet extending out into the sand. He stared out into the darkness, listening to the wind stir the sand, occasionally rubbing his butt where he'd been recently bitten. I'm back. Is Jack still talking to the snake about the... Yeah, so if Steel Shield, Jack learned that the third request, basically the responsibility that he gets from the third request is that if he thinks that that humanity must end, he needs to pull the lever. Yeah. Candace and Joe went to SawCon and got Ligma, but they cured it using Kisma. What's Kisma? What's Ligma? What's SawCon? Yeah, I think we've done it now for Clippers. Yeah. Nate had left for a little while, had come back with a desert rodent-shaped bulge somewhere in his middle. Bulge? Ayo? Who's Candace? Weenus? Who's Sugma? And was now wrapped back around the lever, his tongue flicking out into the desert night's air, the only sign that he was still awake. I recognized that bulge. Any bulge enjoyers in the chat? Yeah. Any male VTuber fans? No. What's up, dog? Yeah. What the fuck is up, dog? What is... Occasionally, Nate, with his toes absentmindedly digging... You know, this is causing me as much pain as it's causing all of you, right? I mean, we're sharing this together, right? This is going to make us, like, the relationship that we have, right? From streamer to viewer, the parasocial relationship that we share. This is, I mean, sometimes a little bit of pain, right? Sometimes undergoing a trial together can strengthen that relationship. And I think together, we're strengthening... I'm enjoying this. I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, it's... You know, it's good. It's good. It's a good joke. It's a funny joke. Occasionally, Jack, with his toes absentmindedly digging in the sand while he thought, would ask Nate a question without turning around. Nate, do accidents count? Nate lifted his head a little bit. What do you mean, Jack? Jack tilted his head back like he was looking at the stars. You know, accidents. If I accidentally fall on the lever without meaning to, does that still wipe out humanity? Updog is a rare genetic disorder some dogs have where they experience gravity backwards. Updog the game? Updog the game? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does, Jack. I'd suggest you be pretty careful about that if you start feeling wobbly, said Nate with some amusement. A little later, does it have to be me that pulls the lever? Asked Jack. That's the rule, Jack. Nobody else can pull it. No, Jack shook his head. I mean, does it have to be my hand? Could I pull the lever with a rope tied around it, or push it with a stick, or throw a rock? Yes, those should work, replied Nate, although I'm not sure how complicated you could get. Samuel thought about trying to build some kind of remote control for it once, but gave it up. Everything he'd build would be gone by the next sunrise if it was touching the stone or over it. I told him that in the past, others that had been bound had tried to bury the lever so that they wouldn't be tempted to pull it, but every time the stone or sands or whatever had disappeared. We had a clip here? What's this clip? I'm not even going to check the clip. We're going to go right to MPV. We gotta react. I'm so into reacting now. Reacting is like my new thing. It's like the new type of content that I'm kind of into. Joe went to SawCon and got Ligma, but they cured it. There we go. It's what we expect. What's nice, excellent. Anyway, so stones. So trying to bury the lever or put anything that touches the lever will disappear the next. How? What? Huh? Wow, said Jack. Cool. Jack leaned back until only his elbows kept him off of the stone and looked up into the sky. Nate, how long did Samuel live? One of his wishes was for health too, right? Asked Jack. Yes, replied Nate, it was. He lived 167 years, Jack. Good reaction. Yeah, nice. Here's the face for the thumbnail. Here's another face. There we go. There's two faces. I can only make like 4 faces because my eyes are either open or closed and my mouth is either open or closed. So like, I mean, the level of the number of bits in the face display quite limited. Anyway, so Samuel lived 167 years. This is as wide as my mouth goes. Unless I could edit the source code to make the mouth go way wider. Maybe we'll do that later. Wow, 167 years. That's almost 140 more years I'll live if I live as long. Do you know what he died of, Nate? He died of Ligma, Jack. No, he died of getting tired of living, Jack, Nate said, sounding somewhat sad. Jack turned his head to look at Nate in the starlight. Nate looked back. Samuel knew he wasn't going to be able to stay in society. He figured that they'd eventually see him still alive and start questioning it, so he decided he'd have to disappear after a while. He faked his death once, but changed his mind. We're not scrolling correctly, so I can't read the chat. Open wide, damn, yeah. He decided it was too early and he could stay for a little longer. He wasn't very fond of mankind, but he liked the attention, most of the time anyway. His daughter and then his wife dying almost did him in, though. He didn't stay in society much longer after that. He eventually came out here to spend time talking to me and thinking about pulling the lever. A few months ago, he told me he'd had enough. It was his time. And then he just died, asked Jack. Nate shook his head a little. He made his 4th request, Jack. There's only one thing you can ask for the 4th request. The last bite. Don't forget the short... Oh, we need short joke break. Yes, yes. So, how else would viewers not understand what's going on here? There's only one thing you can request for the... There's only one thing you can ask for the 4th request. The last bite. After a bit, Nate continued. He told me that he was tired, that it was his time. He reassured me that someone new would show up soon, like they always had. After another pause, Nate finished. Samuel's body disappeared off the stone with the sunrise. Jack looked back down and looked at the sky, leaving Nate alone with his memories. It was a long time until Jack's breathing evened out into sleep. This setup is like 4 different scenarios connected. I mean, this is deep lore. There's lore happening here, Joel. This is like the Dark Souls 3. This is like the Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin edition of jokes. I mean, you know, you gotta respect it a little bit, to some degree. Anyway. Jack lay back down and looked up at the sky, leaving Nate alone with his memories. It was a long time until Jack's breathing evened out into sleep. Jack woke with the sunrise the next morning. He was a little chilled with the morning desert air. 5 or 10 more minutes, or so close. But overall was feeling pretty good. Well, except that his stomach was grumbling and he wasn't willing to eat raw desert rat. So after getting directions to town from Nate, making sure he knew how to get back, and reassuring Nate that he'd be back soon, Jack started the long walk back to town. With his new health and Jake's good directions, he made it back easily. Jack caught a bus back to the city and showed up for work the next day, a little worse for the wear and with a story about getting lost in the desert and walking back out. Within a couple of days, Jack had talked a friend with a tow truck into going back into the desert with him to fetch the SUV. Truly the Dark Souls of jokes. Welcome, you were here. You've been here, Vicious987, but I say welcome all the same. You are welcome. We'll all be different people on the other end of this joke. Things won't be the same. And this is a joke. It's a joke, Newtonium. It is a joke. It is explicitly a joke. To fetch the SUV, they found it after a couple of hours and towed it back without incident. Jake was careful not to even look in the direction of Nate's lever, though their path back didn't come within sight of it. Before the next weekend, Jack had gone to a couple of stores, including a bookstore, and had gotten his SUV back from the mechanic with a warning to avoid any more joyriding in the desert. Waiting for Godot, yeah. Entire Shrek movie, yes. On Saturday, Jake headed back to see Nate. Jake parked a little way out of the small town near Nate, loaded up his new backpack with camping gear and the things he was bringing for Nate, and then started walking. He figured that walking would leave the least trail, and he knew that while not many people camped in the desert, it wasn't unheard of and shouldn't really raise suspicions. Jack had brought more books for Nate. Recent books, magazines, newspapers. Some things that would catch Nate up with what was happening in the world. Others that were just good books to read. He spent the weekend with Nate and then headed out again. Is this the ship? Bros, is this the ship? Are we shipping?
Speaking of AO3.
Speaking of AO3, I zoned out a bit and we've gone from ending. Well, Yuki VT, Jack agreed to the bargain, asked for wisdom, and then is bringing materials back for Nate. They're now friends. This is now the ship. Nate the snake and Jack the human. This is now a romance. No. He spent the weekend with Nate and then headed out again, telling Nate that he'd be back again soon, but he had things to do first. Over 4 months later, Jack was back to see Nate again. This time he brought a laptop with him, a specially modified laptop. He had a solar recharger, special filters and seals to keep out the sand, a satellite link up, and a special keyboard and joystick that Jack hoped that a 15-foot rattlesnake would be able to use, and it had been hacked to not give out its location to the satellite. That seems a little, I mean, kind of on the topic of the stream. I'm not sure that's possible. I'm not sure you can hack the laptop to not, I'm pretty sure being able to communicate with the satellite is enough information for the satellite to know where you are, maybe, but I don't know very much about these things. But we have to suspend our disbelief a little bit, Clonkheads. We have magic snakes and stuff going on here. So after that, Jack could email Nate to keep in touch, but still visited him regularly, at least once or twice a year. I'm gonna hack my voice so someone on the other side of the room can't tell where I am. Yeah, anything that transmits can be located. That's sort of what I thought. Yes. Look, snake. It's just a different thing, right? It's snake magic. I don't gotta explain shit. At least once or twice a year. After the first year, Jack quit his job, mood. For some reason, with the wisdom he'd be given and the knowledge that he could live for over 150 years, working in a 9-to-5 job for someone else didn't seem that worthwhile anymore. Jack went back to school. Man, what a mood. Eventually, Jack started writing. Perhaps because of the wisdom, or perhaps because of his new perspective, he wrote well. People liked what he wrote, and he became well known for it. After a time, Jack brought an RV and started traveling around the country for book signings and readings. But he still remembered to drop by. Man, this is short. Yeah, it's a quick joke. I don't know what you're all. But he still remembered to drop by and visit Nate occasionally. On one of the visits, Nate seemed quieter than usual. Not that Nate had been a fountain of joy lately. Jack's best guess was that Nate was still missing Samuel, and though Jack had tried, he still hadn't been able to replace Samuel in Nate's eyes. We have a love triangle and a series of snakes. Nate had been getting quieter each visit, but on this visit, Nate didn't even speak when Jack walked up to the lever. He nodded at Jack and then went back to staring at the desert. Jack, respecting Nate's silence, sat down and waited. After a few minutes, Nate spoke. Jack, I have someone to introduce you to. We're to the third core. Yeah, we're on season 3. Jack looked surprised. Someone to introduce me to. We're introducing new characters, big action happening, fast, quickly. Jack looked around and then looked carefully back at Nate. This something to do with the big guy? No, replied Nate. This is more personal. I want you to meet my son. Nate looked over at the nearest sand dune. Sammy. Jack watched as a 4-foot-long desert rattlesnake crawled from behind the dune and up to the stone base of the lever. Yo, Jack, said the new, much smaller snake. Yo, Sammy, replied Jack. Jack looked at Nate. Named after Samuel, I assume? Nate nodded. Jack, I've got a favor to ask you. Could you show Sammy around for me? Nate unwrapped himself from the lever and slithered over to the edge of the stone and looked across the sands. When Samuel first told me about the world and brought me books and pictures, I wished that I could go see it. I wanted to see the great forests, the canyons, the cities, and even the other deserts, to see if they felt and smelled the same. I want my son to have that chance to see the world before he becomes bound here like I have been. He's seen it in pictures over the computer that you brought me. New snake hype, yeah. But I heard that it's not the same, that being there is different. I want him to have that. Think you can do that for me, Jack? Jack nodded. This was obviously very important to Nate, so Jack didn't even joke about taking a talking rattlesnake out to see the world. Yeah, I can do that for you, Nate. Is that all you need? Compared to our lives, this is it's true, you know. I mean, compared to the span of time that you're going to be here on this earth, this is just it's just a snap, a blink of an eye, right? And I mean, it'll be worth it. I promise you. Yeah, I can do that for you, Nate. Is that all you need? Jack could sense that there was something more. Nate looked at Sammy. Sammy looked back at Nate for a second and then said, oh yeah, I've got to go pack. Back in a little bit, Jack. Nice to meet ya. Awkward. I went for a coffee and came back. And yeah, I mean, again, a little bit more. You're going to be 5 or 10 more minutes, I promise. Okay. Sammy slithered back over the dune and out of sight. Nate watched Sammy disappear and then looked back at Jack. Jack, this is my first son. My first offspring through all the years. You don't even want to know what it took for me to find a mate. Ooh, we were getting a little bit. Oh, whoa. AO3 moment. Nate grinned to himself. But anyway, I had a son for a reason. I'm tired. I'm ready for it to be over. I needed a replacement. Jack considered this for a minute. So you're ready to come and see the world and you wanted him to watch the lever while you were gone? Nate shook his head. Wow. No, Jack, you're a better guesser than that. You've already figured it out. I'm bound here. There's only one way for me to leave here, and I'm ready. It's my time to die. Oh, Jesus. Jack looked more closely at Nate. He could tell Nate had thought about this, probably for quite a while. Jack had trouble imagining what it would be like to be as old as Nate, but Jack could already tell that in another 100 or 200 years, he might be getting tired of life himself. Jack could understand Samuel's decision and now Nate's. So all Jack said was, "What do you want me to do?" Nate nodded. "Thanks, Jack. I only want two things. One, show Sammy around." Thank you for the boost, Nova, as well. "Show Sammy around the world. Let him get his fill of it until he's ready to come back here and take over. 2, give me the fourth request. I can't just decide to die, not any more than you can. I won't even die of old age like you eventually will, even though it'll be a long time from now. I need to be killed. Once Sammy is back here, ready to take over, I'll be ready to die, and I need you to kill me. I've even thought about how poisons and other drugs won't work on me, and I've seen pictures of snakes that were shot. Some of them live for days, so that's out too. So I want you to bring back a sword." Nate turned away to look at the dune Sammy had gone behind. "I'd say an axe, but that's somewhat undignified, putting my head on the ground or a chopping block like that. No, I like a sword. A time-honored way of going out, a dignified way to die. And most importantly, it should work, even on me." "You're willing to do that for me, Jack?" Nate turned back to look at Jack. "Yeah, Nate," replied Jack solemnly. "I think I can handle that." Nate replied, "Good." He turned back toward the dude and shouted, "Sammy, Jack's about ready to leave." Then quietly, "Thanks, Jack." I don't want to hear the end. It's like One Piece, but we got the Congo through sword. Yeah, we're going Congo. We got to go Shisho mode for this one. Congo would be a trivial matter for Congo to kill this ancient snake. It would be totally trivial. It'd be a triviality. Jack didn't have anything to say to that, so he waited for Sammy to make it back to the lever, nodded to him, nodded a final time to Nate, and then headed into the desert with Sammy following. Over the next several years, Sammy and Jack kept in touch with Nate through email as they went about their adventures. Thank you for the follow, Vlad Caffeine, as well. Good to see you. We're taking a short joke break at the moment, so it'll be over in a bit. Like, I don't know. We're in the build-up. Basically, there's a guy in the desert and there's a snake and stuff, and it's almost over. It's almost over. I promise. I promise. Over the next several years, Sammy and Jack kept in touch with Nate through email as they went about their adventures. They made a goal of visiting every country in the world and did a respectable job of it. Sammy had a natural gift for languages, as Jack expected he would, and even ended up acting as a translator for Jack in a few of the countries. Jack managed to keep the talking rattlesnake hidden, even so, and by the time they were nearing the end of their tour of countries, Sammy had only been spotted a couple times. While there were several people that had seen enough to startle them greatly, nobody had enough evidence to prove anything, and while a few wild rumors and stories followed Jack and Sammy around, nothing ever hit the newspapers or the public in general. When they finished the tour of countries, Jack suggested they try some undersea diving. They did, and spelunking. They did that too. Sammy finally drew the line at visiting Antarctica. Sorry, TTS. This is thirsty work. We gotta stay hydrated. He'd come to realize that Jack was stalling. After talking to his dad about it over email, he figured out that Jack probably didn't want to have to kill Nate. Nate told Sammy that humans could be squeamish about killing friends and acquaintances. So true. So Sammy eventually put his tail down, as he didn't have a foot, and told Jack that it was time. He was ready to go back and take up his duties from his dad. Jack delayed it a little more by insisting they go back to Japan and buy an appropriate sword. He even stretched it a little more by getting lessons in how to use the sword. He's a katana. He's got the katana action going on here. But eventually, he learned as much as he was likely to without dedicating his life to it, and was definitely competent enough to take the head off of a snake. It was time to head back and see Nate. Is that Hattori Hanzo steel? Yes, folded over 10,000 times. What's the I don't know enough about Japanese swords to like what's like the famous cursed sword? I don't know. Murasama or something. I don't know. While others were partying, he was studying the sword. It's true. He was studying the sword to kill his friend, the snake, Nate the snake. No, Sammy, we have to go to a Hatsune Miku concert first. Yes, he has to go marry his Oshi first. He has to go to his Oshi's live performance. This all ties back to VTubers at the end of the day, really, like everything on this channel. This is a VTuber focused channel mostly. Anyway, it's time to head back and see Nate. When they got back to the US, Jack got the old RV out of storage where he and Sammy had left it after their tour of the 50 states. I mean, 10k folds is definitely overkill. Those layers would be subatomic, yeah. When the buildup is done, blast off, yeah. I tolerate my short joke. I'm a Hodor crustacean living at the bottom of Mariana's Trench. Fan companies love to work with me because I tolerate, yeah, geez, yeah, that's so true. I'm done with that particular lifestyle. I think myself, Pablo Pepe 69. But honestly, actually a pretty good joke. But I mean, of course, it cannot compare to this short joke. I mean, this one is just so much shorter or something. Okay, when they got back, they got the RV out of storage where they had left it after the tour of the 50 states. He loaded up with Sammy and the sword, and they headed for the desert. When they got to the small town that Jack had been trying to find those years ago when he'd met Nate, Jack was in a funk. He didn't really feel like walking all the way out there. Not only that, but he'd forgotten to figure the travel time correctly, and it was late afternoon. What are we yoing about? Oh, I see the joke. We're going the joke. We're going joke style. I see. Now I understand. Not only that, but he'd forgotten to figure the travel time correctly, and it was late afternoon. They'd either have to spend the night in town and walk out tomorrow, or walk in the dark. As Jack was afraid that if he waited one more night, he might lose his resolve, he decided that he'd go ahead and drive the RV out there. It was only going to be this once, and Jack would go back and cover the tracks afterward. They ought to be able to make it out there by nightfall if they drove, and then they could get it over tonight. Jack told Sammy to email Nate that they were coming as he drove out of sight of the town on the road. Then they pulled off the road and headed out into the desert. Everything went well until they got to the sandy dunes. Jack had been nursing the RV over the whole time, over the rocks, through the creek beds, revving the engine the few times they almost got stuck. When they came to the dunes, Jack didn't really think about it. He just downshifted and headed up the first one. By the third dune, Jack started to regret that he decided to try driving on the sand. The RV was fishtailing and losing traction. Jack was having to work it up each dune slowly, and then was trying to keep it from losing control each time they came over the top and slid down the other side. Sammy had come up to sit in the passenger seat, coiling up and laughing at Jack's driving. They're such good buds. Jack and Sammy are such buds. As they came over the top of the fourth dune, the biggest one yet, Jack saw that this was the final dune. The stone, the lever, and somewhere Nate waited below. Jack put on the brakes, but he'd gone a little too far. The RV started slipping down the other side. Jack tried turning the wheel, but he didn't have enough traction. He pumped the brakes, no response. They started sliding down the hill faster and faster. Jack felt a shock go through him as he suddenly realized they were heading for the lever. He looked down. The RV was directly on course for it. If Jack didn't do something, the RV would hit it. He was about to end humanity. Jack steered more frantically, trying to get traction. It still wasn't working. The dune was too steep and the sand too loose. In a split second, Jack realized that his only chance would be once he hit the stone around the lever. He should have traction on the stone for just a second before he hit the lever. He wouldn't have time to stop, but he should be able to steer away. Jack took a better grip on the steering wheel and tried to turn the RV a little bit. Every little bit would help. He'd have to time his turn just right. The RV got to the bottom of the dune, sliding at an amazing speed in the sand. Just before they reached the stone, Jack looked across it to check that they were still heading for the lever. But they were. But Jack noticed something else that he hadn't seen from the top of the dune. Nate wasn't wrapped around the lever. He was off to the side of the lever, but still on the stone, waiting for them. The problem was he was waiting on the same side of the lever that Jack had picked to steer towards to avoid the lever. The RV was already starting to drift that way a little in its mad rush across the sand, and there was no way that Jack was going to be able to go around the lever to the other side. Jack had an instant of realization. He was either going to have to hit the lever or run over Nate. He glanced over at Sammy and saw that Sammy realized the same thing. Jack took a firmer grip on the steering wheel as the RV ran up on the stone. Shouting to Sammy as he pulled the steering wheel, "Better Nate than lever," he ran over the snake. The end. Better Nate than lever, guys. Well, that's the end of our short joke break. Let's get back to business. Thank you for the sub, Vicento. let me link this. Yeah. Anyway, you just all remember, better Nate than lever. Yeah, here's the joke. You're distracted and missed the last paragraph. This will be remembered. Thank you, Kinwoop. Welcome in. The length of the joke for the tiniest fun. Yes, I mean, I said before I started saying the joke, I said, I love when things just get ground into dust. And yeah, it's a joke. It's a good joke. Better Nate than Lever. I'm going to file my euthanasia paperwork now. Yeah, gonna get in the pod. Oh my god, yes. Well, I mean, that's the joke. Well, better Nate than Lever. Please sleep well, Momomo VT. That was quite a sesh, wasn't it? That was a little bit of a sesh. Wishing you a chill remaining stream. Well, how do we go from there? How do we even continue? What's even next from that point on? Thanks for the short joke stream. Do we just end?
No.
We've been going for 2.5 hours. Do we just end? Dog walk time. End stream. You know what? Let's just raid. It's been 2.5. Let's just raid Uwu. Everyone raid. You better raid, and you gotta spam the second longest. Oh, that's for the next stream, Basilia. Where's
You could read it another code.
We could go a couple more times. Yeah, that's true. We're rating Uwu to OO. We didn't code. We coded a little bit. We wrote at least some things in IELM this stream. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back on Friday with the usual stream. Holy fuck! And spam better Nate than Lever. The raid message is better Nate than Lever. The second reading, we'll do that on Discord privately. Join. Everyone say ! Discord. Please join the Discord if you like Discords. Please join the IRC if you like IRCs. We have to read it again without pronouns. We have to make it gender neutral. We'll make it happen. Okay, everyone. I gotta click raid now. Apparently.
Oh.